gonna make a
Hello,
Klingon
everyone.
joke, but I couldn't think of a Klingon joke. I was gonna say Kapla, but this is the exchange program, so I don't know.
You'll be
Ah,
volunteering. I won't be sending you.
that's the that's the ad. That's the problem with having the thing prepared. Right, it's an ad. What is this? An ad? It's a fragrance. Thanks, fragrance ad. Great. Forcing myself on our live stream by playing the live stream in the live stream. Ka!
Ka-
No, gach
Oh, gach.
or gach, as they say at one point.
Yes.
But it's fine. Hi, Stuart. How you doing?
Hi, Samuel. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm actually doing pretty good after this episode. I'll be honest. It was a refreshing thing to watch.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure.
Yeah. And I was got sort of floored at the next one's Measure of Man. It's like, oh, we got there already. Oh,
Wow. Yeah.
people.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be a good one to review for sure. It's gonna be pretty detailed, I think.
People say it's like the best of TNG. So to say it peaked at season 2, given all the stuff that's previous, that's quite a high claim. And I haven't seen an episode in its entirety in at least like 12 to 15 years because VHS and it was early. I remember bits like clips, but I don't think I've seen it properly for that many years. It'll be a fresh watch for me, and there's the full extra bonus edition which you can watch, depending. So it'll be a genuine I hope it lives up to expectations because it's in my head it's meant to be one of the best ones ever. So it better be one of the best ones ever because it's like I don't remember it very much.
Well, when you think that though, I know you always get disappointed.
Well,
So
let's see if I wait. I mean, it's one of the best ever. So let's see if I mean, it should have that reputation. It's like Guardian Forever. You can see why it's called one of the best ever. Like the script's good and the acting's good. Like you can see why. So I'm hoping that there's still the you can see why in it.
Yeah. Sorry. Martin Devon just said the captain's hair is messy. See what happens when I don't do my hair. Today I just went out. We went out. We had breakfast. Sylvia was off today because it's Remembrance Day, and her position she gets that off, so that's fine. So we went out for breakfast. I just threw on one of my flat caps that I bought in England.
Oh, I should take me a selfie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Next time.
So yeah, I was just around the house all day, sitting around doing nothing with Sylvia, and sorry my hair is messy, guys. I thought no one would notice. It looks kind of good.
Stuart, the key is that makeup artist that you keep locked in your closet to do the show. You can't let her have a day off. That's what we're hearing.
Oh. Brian says at least I have hair, so that's good. Judge 1981 says my hair is spectacular, so brownie points for him. And Martin said he only noticed because I was preening. I was like, I do that all the time now during videos because I see myself in the viewfinder thing, and I'm like, so this one's off. You just gotta realign the warp matrix there. There we go.
Get maximum efficiency in the warp paradigm. Deborah, as a comment, I'd love to hear your thoughts on before we get started. It would have been cool to see Riker dressed in the Klingon uniform. Your thoughts?
It would have been cool. Would have been cool. Maybe a little unnecessary. He wasn't there very long. I mean, he makes a point of that at the end. It's the shortest exchange in Starfleet history because he beams aboard. They show him to the bridge, and then I guess he does have time because they go down to the mess hall and stuff before things kind of go off the rails. So yeah, it would have been cool to see maybe just even if he threw something Klingon on top of his uniform. Like not a full Klingon uniform, would have been kind of neat, but no. And Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $1.99 and says, "Hair's."
Thank you.
I know, well. So.
Yeah. So I guess I will share, and then we can get into our pre-show. So yeah, support the channel. Woo! Back and owned.
There's 45 people watching. Everybody, make sure you hit like right away. That's one of the most important things. And super chats, you know the spiel. He's not even listening, so I don't even have to say it. It's important. Helps the channel. Voice heard. Question answered. Blah 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 blah. Description down below. PayPal. Other links. Trek Yards. Cool stuff. Go buy it. Support us. Yay! You know the routine. I mean, do it. It's the honorable thing to do because we're talking about a matter of honor here. So super chats are the honorable way to help the channel. or something. Kapla. Clivoid is watching at work today. Ooh, don't get caught. Don't get in trouble. Perfect episode for Veterans Day. Actually, it is. Yeah, I never really considered that. A Warriors episode. Hashtag Code of Honor. That kind of applies to this one, actually. Even though, yeah, in Trek Yard's, lore, hashtag Code of Honor is a bad thing, but yeah. Devo77X says, I've been saying I like this video, but nothing happens. Oh, you've been clicking the like button and nothing happens? Well, make sure every time you click it, though, you're clicking it and unclicking it. So click it, make sure it
And
sticks.
Clive, pay attention to your work as well, but mostly us.
Yes.
It's worth saying that YouTube is forever changing their ad revenue policy, and that the line is continually skewing towards super chats being our primary source of income. So last month it was like 70% of our income was from super chats, which, as you can imagine, makes it quite difficult, because if we don't do these live super chats, then every time we don't do a good one, it's just like it drops our bar hugely. Whereas in the olden days it was kind of like 50-50, 40-50, 40-60, and so some difficult times right now for the ad stuff. So super chats are even more essential, and we'll see how we are at the end of the month. But support a good episode with a good episode.
Mm-hmm. And ad revenue is still there, sort of, a little bit. As he says, the percentage isn't high. So even just sharing our regular videos, or even sharing the lives, just so more people see them, also helps out as well. So just sharing is a great way to help.
Because we don't mind having not a lot of views, as long as you guys do watch and enjoy it. But those that do watch and enjoy it have got to support to get more. Whereas if we had like 1 billion views, we wouldn't need the Patreon, and we wouldn't care what you thought because we're too big, as a lot of big creators are. But we're much more, relatable and with you guys. And so we're back in a moment. But yeah, it's a weird situation how YouTube's kind of messing around creators, and we want to keep doing this, but if we can't support ourselves, then we can't keep doing it, because how many days a week do we do lives, how many videos do we make? It's tricky, and we can't be complacent about it, otherwise we can't pay rent and we can't live, and it's a problem. So yeah, help us out if you can, and there's definitely some good Trek coming in, but obviously, as you said, just joining in is better than nothing, because we want a community here. We always find we bounce off people better. The conversations, the thoughts, it makes all the difference just to be part of a community, and we appreciate it. So thank you.
Plus, with all the new content coming out, we got Mandalorian, we got shorts, we got Picard starting in January. We got a lot of stuff coming up that'll help for sure. But definitely, super chats are kind of super chats and Patreon are kind of our bread and butter. So just remember that, guys. If you can help, that's awesome.
Life's blood.
Steven Gonzalez puts in $2. One of my all-time favorite TNG episodes. Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Which then brings us right in then. So Stuart, your overall, general, short-ish but not really review of this episode. Full spoilers.
Great episode. Love seeing other ships and things, and getting more of a glance at the Klingon culture. I know Gene Roddenberry didn't really want to focus too much on the Klingons going into season 1 of TNG. That definitely changes though, because they are quite heavily fleshed out in this series, and that's great. So awesome to see. I find a few things a little hard to believe, especially the one Klingon who's like, I've never seen someone of your species before. It's like, really? Haven't you? Or just not up close in person? Like, it just seemed a little much. But that little thing being, put aside, I thought it was really well done. This is a great episode, fun to watch. Simple misunderstanding that just could have been so easily cleared up, and I think the captain kind of went a little overboard, but showing that Klingon stubbornness, I guess. You are allies after all, but he's paranoid, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, great episode. One of the best of season 2 for sure so far. I'm sure it will continue to be, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and you put some great...
One of the new super chat stickers of the cool guy with the glasses.
Very fancy.
Sorry.
So yeah, so you went away. Some really good points. I love them, and I think just to like Captain for a second, this guy's presumably a little bit older than most people on the crew, given he's a captain. So he was presumably alive when they're at war fully. Klingons live a long time, so I mean, he's brought up the idea they're enemies, and so it's just kind of you're right. It's all because one bit daft captain jumped the gun a bit too quick. But if it was Martok or Gowron or someone who was a bit more, not that, it would have been a different situation. But that's the captain they got. My question to you, Stuart, is this the best episode of TNG yet?
Ooh, trying to remember back to season 1 now.
Because it's really, really good.
yes, this is a good precursor as to what's to come.
Yeah.
As far as good Trek, like in TNG. So yeah, I would say so. Yes, for TNG, this is probably like the first really, really good one.
Because this could be
really stands the test of time.
And this could be any season, actually. Really.
Yeah.
With very minor changes. I think this is probably the best episode of TNG so far. Its script is solid. All the characters know what they're doing. It's obviously got one plot, but the plot is broken up into A and B storylines within the plot, which gives it a nice sense of pace. Worf gets lovely little bits. Riker gets to really have fun with it. Plastic isn't just enough. Data gets a little bit of a different part, but not really, but a little bit. The Klingons are great. The Captain, I think, lets it down a little bit. Personally, for me, they could have done the Captain a bit better.
Yeah. Is this the same guy that played the Pakled? Because it certainly sounds like him.
Oh, I don't know.
He sounds kind of.
That's a great question. I didn't think that. I'm going to look while you do the super chats.
Yeah. Well, I already read. I guess you didn't hear me read the Jeff Jacobs one of 99 cents with the cool super chat sticker. And then cool. Jeff Jacobs also puts in 253 and says 50 in under 15 minutes. Beautiful. Again at 100. Hashtag make Jeff pay. We're getting really good at getting 50 likes in under 15 minutes lately. So thank you guys. Keep it up. 79 of you here though. So everybody hit that like button.
Yeah. And why is liking important?
Because it helps the YouTube algorithm and it lets us know that you like what we do and want to see more of it. All the videos, just take a second. I know a lot of times I'm watching YouTube late at night on my PlayStation upstairs and I really enjoy the video. And at the last minute, I'm like, oh yeah, you like, because they say, hit like at the end to remind you. Like, oh yeah. Because you're just enjoying it. You don't want to, move the controller over and hit the like thing. But it does help out. If you can remember, please do. That's why we like to say it at the beginning and kind of all the way through. Because if I hear it, I will like videos that I really like because it does help out the YouTube creators. So yes, by all means, hit like.
We always like to get to at least 100 and something during a live. 100 and something.
And Jill47 puts in 99 cents with a upside down smiley face. Thank you very much, Jill.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Every little bit is awesome. And yes, Stuart, amazingly, even though I didn't get them at all, he was the same damn captain.
Okay,
well done.
Like him. Yeah, thought it sounded like it.
Epic call out. And he was in DS9 twice as guard / Derg. Really good stuff there. In the big Klingon episode with Kang, Koloth, and Kor, he's a guard. Bit of a demotion from a Quill captain to not necessarily from a Packard captain, but oh, and he was also Cobra Commander in 2 seasons of the 1990-1992 G.I. Joe show.
G.I. Joe Renegades?
No, just called G.I. Joe.
Oh.
1992.
G.I. Joe Renegades was kind of shit. So.
Well, there you go. Cobra Commander. It's quite a big pie, isn't it? I think, from what I know of the universe, which is very little. Well done. But I think as a captain, I get exactly what they're going for. I just wish they went a different direction, which is just more of a personal appreciation rather than actual, But I think though the second in command makes up for it hugely.
Yeah.
And I think by having one who's a bit of an old timer in his mentality, when the other guy is so good at what he does, it lets you feel one by way of contrast with the other. So if they'd both been similar, it wouldn't have worked as well. So I do get what they're going for. I really do. But imagine if that had been like Martok. Like JG as Martok, that would have been like a house on fire. Okay, shall we start then? Oh no, my review.
Absolutely.
But yeah, my review, best episode of TNG so far, I think. Writing's excellent. The only biggest problem is that it has the quick resolution, but every episode has so far this season. They don't know how to write an ending currently, and it suffers from that.
Well,
But
this one, the quick resolution, I think, is actually pretty good. I mean, it's not just kind of like, oh yeah, we got a minute, boom, everything's solved. The way it plays out. I think it works actually really well. It is rather quick, but I think it works.
it's because it's cyclical. The end is where it begins, so you feel as if there's a build to the end. But really, the ending is like, oh, they fixed it. Captain Riker. Da, da, da. It's still quick, but there's a bit more build up to it. But the resolution element, so like it needed 2 more scenes maybe. But each episode has that. That's just the style they're doing currently. But I mean, that's doesn't diminish it really at all. It's just like, oh, okay, that was it. Now, this has been a great 2-parter.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he would have stretched it. Maybe like a mission before so he's on the ship and they're doing a mission and then they discover the bacteria. That would have been even better. Could have had more sets, could have had more time with them. I think that could have been a really like standout show for them. Actually, I wonder who wrote this, because the writing I think is one of its best bits. Let me just see who wrote this one. Written by Bortus Aramus, Burton Aramus, sorry, who's done 13 episodes of TNG as producer. Sorry, writer. He wrote 2 TNG. He did this and teleplay for this and the Radio Seconda. But it was a producer on 13, including Measure of a Man, The Child. Well, basically most of season 2. Producer on those.
Yeah.
Weird selection.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Well, let's get into it.
Yes.
So they're just coming. Well, they just were at Starbase 179, and they're going to Starbase 179 to pick up the new transfers or the exchange people, whatever. Looks like 3 of them are just standard crew replacements, and 1 is an exchange person, and that'd be Mordock. So.
Well, not Mordock.
Well, not Mordock. You're right. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Mendon. Well, they all look alike, so.
Well, yeah.
Well, from the planet Benzar. But yeah, Wesley even says, you look like him. Well, we are from the same geostructure. Naturally, we all look alike. And then the stupidest question in the world. How do you tell each other apart? We just do. I mean, anyway, sorry, I kind of jumped through the first scene really quick. I didn't mean to, but and we find out he actually requested the Enterprise, and he knows that he can really be a lot of help to the ship. And Riker's like, oh, okay. I love his look. Once they leave, he looks at O'Brien like, what was that all about? So, again, Riker's facial expressions are so good in this show.
Yeah.
He really conveys what he's thinking, for sure.
Yes. So my thoughts. Yeah, Beeman's fun. I like they're all science blue. It's subtle, but it's nice. We don't often see that many science blues. And the characterization of this guy. I mean, what a stroke of genius, though. The actor stood out in the first appearance. It's the same actor, same-ish makeup to come back, but oh yeah, we just look similar. But he does give a different performance, and it's amazing how instantly you're like, this guy is a bit passionate.
Arrogant?
Yeah. That's the word. That's the word. But that he straddles a line so brilliantly of it being obnoxious, because he really doesn't mean it to be.
Yeah.
Without any sort of ego, and that's a hard thing. The acting is right spot on in this. Although when Wesley says, Mordock, hey! I'm like, your acting is shit. Like, often if you're starting a conversation, hey man, how you doing? Oh, it's good to see you again. Like, it's sometimes really hard to start a natural conversation, and he was awful. Once he got into it, it's fine. But it's amazing, again, like I said last week, Wesley is now just the audience character.
Yeah, exactly.
Really streamlined. I mean, I can imagine Will Wheaton was quite unhappy with this. Like, At least I'm still here.
For now.
I've lost 150 IQ points, but there's a show called Scorpion, which I really enjoyed, and they said that people have got EQ points, emotional connectivity, something, where you either like have brain power or you have emotional like dealing with people. And I felt Wesley started here, and now he's like here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. I gotta say too, there's a lot of close-ups of Mendon, and the makeup is fantastic. It holds up really well in the high definition. So kudos to Mike Westmore and the makeup team. They did a fantastic job. And I gotta say, the little atmosphere breather as well is a nice piece of sci-fi tech. It's very cool to have that. It's a little bit. It doesn't need to breathe it all the time. Just kind of some kind of supplement from his atmosphere. So that's great. Love those.
And it's nice because they don't actually explain it in this one.
No.
Like it's just there. You know, deal with it or not. And it's just a bit of texture to the world.
Yeah.
No,
Jarzia throws in $5. Brian Thompson starts fight on TNG. Commanding officer laughs it off. Does the same on DS9. CO decides an impromptu chiropractic session is in order.
Yeah. Christopher Rollins. Wes is being racist, just like all the humans on this show. I don't buy that because he's not intentionally being negative. Like racists should have some sort of intent with it. Otherwise, just these people are so in the future that they don't. It's just an innocent thing. Oh, you guys all look alike because I've only met one of you and he looked like you, and I don't know anything about your species. I mean, it's just. I'm sure that he thinks you all look quite similar. I mean, if you didn't have a beard, which one are you? I mean, it's not racist. It's just a conversation starter for people who aren't gonna get butthurt about stuff for adults. You know, it's fine. It's a little bit heavy-handed, but yeah, he explains it well. And yes, O'Brien's here again. Good for O'Brien.
Yeah, and he's got some good lines again and some character building.
With a great line later. Oof.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But the smirk back and forth with Riker about this, benzite, it's good. It's good. Let's see here.
Firing range.
Yes.
An unusual choice.
Now, I don't know if this is actually I'm sure it is like a firing range, but is it, I guess, would it be part holodeck as well, or is it just a holodeck that they just set up? I don't know. Anyway, not really explained, but very neat to see.
I always got the mental vibe it's not actually the holodeck, it's a dedicated room.
Probably. Yeah, I'll have to look at the blueprints by Rick Sternbach. It's probably there. There's probably a few of them.
Otherwise he would just say, I'm going to holodeck 3. You wouldn't classify it, would you? I do think, though, it's got holographic projectors on the walls.
Yes.
But it's not a dedicated holo room. But it's very... I like it, but I'd have no reason to like it, the set,
Yeah, it's a little bit minimalistic for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're having a conversation about the officer exchange program and what you think of it. Oh, it's a great idea. And then he mentions that there's a Klingon ship in the area. And Riker says, I don't recall ever hearing a Federation officer ever serving aboard a Klingon vessel. So, and then he kind of gets a smirk on his face, like, why are you telling me about this, sir? Who'd you have in mind? Because I'd like to volunteer. Well,
what?
Picard says he's looking for volunteers, so yeah. But he says, I wouldn't mind the assignment, sir. And Picard's like, you mind if I ask why? Well, because no one's ever done it before. So Picard says, yeah, I'll contact Starfleet and make the necessary arrangements. And I kind of like that line. No one's ever done it before. I mean, that's exactly what Scott Bakula said when they offered him the role of Archer. He goes, if it was just another Starfleet captain, I would have been like, but I was the first captain. So I scooped it up. I mean, to be the first is, so I like that. It definitely speaks to Riker's personality.
What do you think of this scene then? Because it's a very... it's a scene where obviously, yes, there's stimuli happening. They're doing something, but really it's just two people in a black non-room having a conversation. What do you think?
I thought it was good. I do like the stance that Picard has. Don't know what that's all about, but it works. And I don't know. I thought it worked. Better than just a regular conversation sitting in the ready room or something. Nice to see something else going on. So, kudos for that.
Okay, well, okay, well, let me talk about. Yes, I think the scene's actually really rather excellent, and I'm wondering, did the way that they each actor approaches the scene is different. I think, and I think works because Picard's asked Riker in, right? So that was intentional. He's bringing the conversation of this exchange program, but Picard's face never gave me the cheeky, well, someone should do it.
No.
But Riker very quickly is like, I mean, I could, but you know what I mean. They're on different levels, and I love it. I think generally Patrick Stewart wasn't trying to give the sense that he was actively thinking Riker specifically.
Yeah.
But I think he was giving him like first dibs if he wanted, but he wasn't thinking he would. I mean, what do you think? Because it's a interestingly acted scene. What vibe did you get?
Well, considering it's his first officer, I think he was just kind of like running it by him. Like, who do you think out of your departments that you oversee, who do you think would be good for this? I was looking for volunteers, but your suggestions would be welcome. That's kind of the vibe that I got. I totally agree with you on that. That Picard didn't give anything away that he wanted Riker to take the assignment. So, yeah, absolutely.
But as soon as he offers, it's such a weird detail, but he says, I'd be interested. Phaser. What? Oh, I'll do it, sir. What? Why was that? Why was that needed? That double down was really quite fun. And just the chem. I said to myself while I was watching it, Jonathan Frakes as Riker, he gives it his all. You buy every single thing he's saying in the scene. A lot of these scenes, like there is no, you know what I mean. He's 100% this character. And I absolutely love his vibe, his essence. And it's like, I want this challenge. Yeah, I'll take it. Although the negative, I think, about the scene is that what sort of stupid organization. So we've got this exchange guy who is in full uniform with an ensign rank pin, implying he did do some training to be on the ship, implying that, right?
Yeah.
Might have like a micro academy course or a full academy course. You can't just call up the nearest ship, literally the nearest ship to you, say, "Hey, do you want to swap officers?" They're like, no. They didn't swap. They gave him Riker. But, like, did they have to get approvals? I mean, it was literally the next day. They just threw a random bit of... Like, they didn't do screening. They didn't check. I just feel so weird. That's something that's planned months in advance. With a delegate crew, a captain that takes a chance on him. It just feels so unbelievably sudden. Like, oh, yeah, I'll just... You're not even part of the program, Riker. I'll just throw on this Klingon ship. I want you off for a week. Go be on this ship.
Yeah, it feels very, very quick.
What?
But I do like that they added because this is something we would have complained about had they not done it, where Picard says, I'll contact Starfleet and have them make the arrangements.
Yeah.
Jarzia.
It's just unbelievably sudden, and it feels like the closest. Oh, there's a Klingon ship in our area, which also brings the case of, are they in Federation space just chilling out?
Well, they're near Starbase 179. If that helps you.
Because there isn't a neutral zone, as we kept being told, so there's just space, so I guess Klingon Federation ships can just be in each other's space, I guess?
Well, yeah, when you're with an ally with somebody, there's still borders, obviously, but there's not, you can go back and forth as you please kind of thing. As long as you have a good reason, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Jarzia, though, throws in $5 Canadian. Scenes like this are hard to film. In The Reckoning, Nana and Syrah couldn't help keep straight faces filming the Prophet battle without special effects. Yeah, well, exactly. But I like what Captain Kenny says. He says, I think this was actually just a weekly thing they did together, and he was just mentioning it. And yeah, it would make sense to do, brush up on your target practice on a regular basis anyway. So.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fun thing to do, and I kind of like. It's kind of saying gun practice is okay in the sense of because I like when you're shooting, I like the idea of target practice. It's a fun art to me, So it's this is just an art form. We're just phasing targets.
Yeah, I like how the last scene right before the credits is Picard firing just above the camera.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
But anyway. Then we get the start of the episode, the title Matter of Honor, and they are rendezvousing with the Bach.
Pach. P.
Bach.
Pach.
Yeah.
Although no IKS. Oh well.
Well, not that it's not mentioned anyway.
I
They
know.
don't always say USS Enterprise either. So
I know. I'm just saying we haven't invented that yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we see Riker and Worf having a chat, and perfect person for Riker to talk to, I guess. Is it true that one duty is of the first officer is to assassinate his captain?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Doesn't that cause problems? No, not really. You would be aiding him in his honorable retirement.
It's worked great for decades, hundreds of years, sir.
And I love how later they say there are no old Klingons. There are old Klingons. We see old Klingons later. Martog's not young by any means. But
no.
anyway.
Well, I think old is. I mean, I think when their hair goes grey, they think them as old. I think midlife is a long time for Klingons. Is the vibe I get.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to know this. I think this was very well shot cinematographically. I think it's very well shot. And if you look at the still with Riker and Worf, how grainy it is, depth of field doesn't just look like a picture, like a high end production still from the show. Like so well lit and so well, you know what I mean? It just looks great. It's a great scene. They're using Worf as like a. Data's like unless he's doing tech stuff specifically, he's we'll write him in as a comic relief line. Well, Worf, they're starting to realise we can write him in as a interesting chemistry character. He 9 times out of 10, Michael Dorner's Worf works in a scene. He's remarkably flexible in the lines he can be doing, and this scene's great. It's nuanced, it's interesting, it's great.
Yeah. And well, Riker ends it by saying, "Well, that's different." And Worf's like, "Many things will be different," and walks away.
Yeah, no shit. But I thought they mirror universe when he said, "Yes, we kill our captains." It's like, wow, that's okay.
Yeah.
I guess in the mirror universe, you gotta go one step further. We eat our captains.
Yeah. But then Mendoc is on the bridge and he's snooping around, and again, very good close-ups on the makeup, and it looks great.
Seriously.
But goes up to tactical, and that is not how tactical looks in Star Trek Bridge Crew. I'm just saying, they must update the panels in later seasons because. Just kidding.
Oh, he knows his bridge.
Bridge Crew's more canon than this because I've used it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he says a comment about the defensive shields and how they could be better. And the guy at Tactical's like, okay. He goes, it's a great setup, but the helm. Well, then he goes up to the helm and says, great setup, but the design of the helm could be better, much more efficient, especially in emergency situations. It's like, Wesley's like, okay, nice. I don't know. He's just strolling around the bridge like he owns the place, and he's just an ensign. I guess the captain's not on the bridge at the moment, but still.
Yeah, my assumption is that this is a very unique situation because I don't imagine he did a full semester at the academy. Otherwise, the exchange program would be like, exchange program, it'll take him 1.5 years or 3 years to get to a ship. Great. So I'm assuming he's like an honourable acting ensign, and then I'm assuming because he's now there to learn, he can't be learning if he's in one room for 6 years doing a science exploration from deck 7. So I'm guessing he gets weird clearance. He can kind of.
I would buy that for an exchange program. Yeah.
Because he's inappropriate with how he's being. Like he's been on the ship one day, literally one day, and he's on the bridge, which in itself is kind of odd. He doesn't really have a right to be on the bridge unless he's a special right. And he's definitely, but he's being appropriate to his own race, but he's clearly not the best suited for this program. But he's at least he wants to learn. He takes every disagreement with a pinch of salt of a learning experience, which is great. Well, this scene surprised me with one line in particular. So he walks up to this guy who's a regular extra. We recognise him, right? This guy says, "Sorry, sir, can I help you?" Sir? Oh.
Well, it's just not a rank thing, just a politeness thing, I think. Like, ma'am or whatever.
I mean, look at his uniform. He has no rank pips.
I know.
So he's unlisted. So why the hell is an unlisted officer act tactical in the day shift? I would think there'd be slight limitations on who can pilot the weapons of your ship. Maybe someone actually has a rank and commissioned officer. I'm sorry, this man should not be on this station. At least lieutenant should be at the station.
Or even just an ensign pip, honestly. Just starting out the command training program, just a little bit of time on the bridge.
Or a tactical trait, maybe if he was in red and he was like one of Worf's lieutenants. Because, I mean, he's a security officer. We've seen him in season 1, I think. But to have a like, that's a weird detail to not give him a pip and then say, sir. It just felt really like they didn't know what they were doing with the writing there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, but do you notice that? I agree with sir, but I mean, a captain wouldn't call. I mean, Riker wouldn't call Wesley sir. I think sir is not every demonstrable interaction. I would assume it's just for the higher rank. Or as you'd say, like, ensign. Can I help you, ensign? Not sir.
Well, the guy that said it is, as you said, has no rank pips at all. So everybody on the ship is assertive.
Which is my problem, really. That's my problem, really, with it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Small detail, but yay HD.
Jarzia, though, throws in $5 Canadian. Thank you very much. Assuming Michael and Sarah was the same age as Kang in the Day of the Dove, he would have been 149 when he died on DS9, and he could still fight. Yeah, exactly. Wow. Yeah, they do have a longer life expectancies for sure.
Brilliant. Oh, and Dan23 has a great little point there. Worf has visited the Klingon planet before. So Worf actively says in this corridor, just a quick point in the walk, he says, I've studied all Klingon traditions. Implying that if he says something, it's based on real Klingon tradition. So if it doesn't drive with Discovery, Discovery's wrong, because he's studied all the traditions. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. Anyway, Mendoc says that his improvements would be more than a marginal improvement. And is the captain open to suggestions? To which Wesley says, well, I've never known him not to listen to any of his officers, of which you're not. But, and then, Mendoc just walks away and says, outstanding. Soon we will have things running perfectly. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Chill out, dude.
I like Wesley's look in that. It's like, no.
Even I'm not stupid enough to say something like that. And I'm smarter than all y'all.
Yeah.
Well, at least I used to be last month.
Because I like how he starts off saying, oh, that's brilliant. And I'll fix it. Me, a lowly 26-year-old ensign from an alien planet that... It's like, Jesus. But there's still a lovely line of he's not being arrogant so much as... He's smart? I don't know. It's a weird line. He's an alien. I mean, aliens are aliens.
He's just trying to be helpful, but he takes it way too far. Like,
Which is weird because they call out later on that in his culture they only give things when they're finished. So why wouldn't he only talk about improvements when he has an actual proposal in writing?
That's a good idea. It's a good thought. I never thought about that. You're right.
It's a very antithetical thing.
Yeah.
But they're kind of like not forcing him scenes, but inventing things for him to do so that he's more important later on. Luckily, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Then you get a truly excellent scene that again shows Jonathan Frakes just goes at it, commits. It's a good scene.
He loves his eating scenes, doesn't he? Even when the one was the mealworms for Conspiracy.
Yeah.
You're really getting in there and just
then
visceral eating.
And the scrambled eggs later, I remember he does a big eating scene with them as well.
Yeah. But I love how there's like, hideous claw, heart of tar, gach. But a lot of it's just like there's upside down beets in some kind of drink. There's dried up prunes. You can recognize a lot of the food.
I think it looks very good though, considering.
Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah. Anyway, and then he later calls gach serpent worms. So that's another name for them. So there you go.
Yeah, I like how I was annoyed because not Tasha, Pulaski's like gach, very specific gach. Luckily, call it gach later on, but it's like gach. It's like no, but they don't know. This is the first time I'm having it, so I'm okay with getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Picard comes in and says, "Well, I'm very familiar with the feast before the transfer. I've done it many times in my career as well. Although I usually make more palatable choices." And Riker's like, "Well, these are the more palatable choices."
It's a good line. It's a good line.
And then, of course, Picard goes on to say, "I actually envy you, being able to have this experience and whatever." So I just love the look on Picard's face the whole time. Like, he's the most tolerant guy you can ever meet, and yet even he's like, "Oh, it's just disgusting." So he can't even hide his feelings about the food. So
I think though I think it's more that he sniffed it and it's just so different. I think it would have been nice to. I love your point there, brilliant. If at the end of the scene he'd taken like one of the little shrimps, eaten it, be like, it's not bad, and walked off.
yeah,
That would have been
exactly.
better. That would have been like a perfect little end to the scene. But I mean, Riker's acting. I mean, you can tell he's actually enjoying this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you actually buy. He's like, this is actually pretty good, pretty good.
I just love Picard's reactions, like the one raised eyebrow, and even Pulaski, that. And she's a doctor, like she knows, about different foods and how they whatever. But
although she does call out that we know almost nothing about them. It's like,
yeah.
I find the faint ignorance of these of Klingons a little bit odd at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can. I mean, how much do we know about Russians? Imagine if Russia was their own planet as well. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
You know a lot about them generally, but you don't know the ins and outs of daily life.
Well, it's
that makes perfect sense.
Okay, so it's like if you were, back in the Nazi era, obviously without information separation, but how much would the English people know about Nazi food? Well, why would you? Why would the information disseminate? Blah 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 blah.
Well, Area 51 throws in $2. Kudos
you.
on the screen caps in this scene. Well, thank you. That was me.
That's good.
Let's see, we got another super chat as well. This one's from Vincent Visions.
Hey.
Bisons. Forgot there was a live as I was watching The Trouble with Edward live. LOL. Watching old streams helps me work on projects. What did I miss? Not too much. We're pretty much at the beginning here. You'll have to go back and rewatch the beginning. At least the first 42 minutes.
But we
that sounds like a long time. God damn.
But we did say it's probably the best episode of TNG yet.
Yes.
So, and Dan mentions about Replicator. I did find that a bit fun, that there is no sense of difficulty replicating Klingon food here. Any thoughts on that?
I don't know how much of it has actually replicated, because you see somebody bring him more later, like it was just prepared. So I don't know if he had, ordered from a list and they're making it in the kitchen behind 10 Forward, because somebody brings him a tray of food later to sit down on the table.
Yeah,
with all
it's still it's on now. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure most of it is replicated, but
I mean, my assumption is kind of the Voyager way, which is you go to the Replicator, you ask for meals, and if
you ask for the raw ingredients and then you cook it.
All that. But how they also put their plates back in the Replicator and it de-replicates to put energy back. So I'm assuming he's ordering food, and then they bring it to him replicated at like increments, and he's just trying a bit of everything. He doesn't need to have like a bite of it. Like, you would bring me a bowl of gach, I'll eat 3 bites, take it back, de-replicate it, it's fine, bring me something else. So he's doing like a buffet, but having a full plate, because that's part of how the ingredients will work together. So I got the sense it's all replicated, but it's probably not like the best food. But I kept that, which I think kind of the fact that Riker says later on, that's delicious. He actually, again, you feel like he's genuinely enjoying it. So it would have been nice if he said better than replicated food. And he's like, yes, it is. Another line they missed, they could have improved on. But I think the scene is really good because it shows amazing balance of culture versus culture, the true acceptance of Riker, the true wanting to acceptance with Picard, and yet the old school Pulaski. And she's never quite disrespectful. Just this is not her cup of tea. And we, I don't like spicy foods. If I went to India and most places only have the strongest curry, I would not be like, I'd be like, I just can't eat it. It's not disrespectful, it's just like, it's not my cup of tea. Or Germany, everything has black pepper in, so I just can't eat most of their food. That was a problem when I went there, a big problem. I'm not going to be mean about it, it's just, I can't eat their food. So I actually like the balance really well here. And just Frakes, selling it.
Yeah. Great scene.
Mm-hmm.
Great scene. Next scene, corridor, we see Worf catch up with Riker, and he hands him an emergency transponder, or transponder. Sorry, not porter, transponder, which is an omnidirectional signal and emergency beacon for as a security precaution. And Riker even asked him, "Are you expecting trouble?" He's like, "Nope, just a security precaution." Yeah, I'm expecting trouble. Didn't say it, but he said it. You know what I mean?
Although the irony is that we learn later on that he needs to be like 40,000 kilometers next to the ship, so
it's for a beam out. Yeah.
Okay, true. I guess we didn't say how far away. And I do appreciate that this is very. You forget about it instantly.
Yeah, exactly.
But it makes sense in the it's a very lovely it's a scene. It's like killing your commander. That actually is important, but it's also throwaway, but it is there.
Yeah. No, it's a long range transponder probably from a couple sectors. You can lock onto somebody like.
Hello. Yes.
As we talked about in our transporter episode, 40,000 kilometers is the range for the transporters. So,
smart one. That was a long time ago as well. Right? And guys, please like this. We're at 111 people watching, which is brilliant. Only 80 likes. I want to see 85 before Stuart's finished reading the super chat. 85.
Jarzia.
Yes.
Do it. 85 now. I'm gonna.
Do it.
Jarzia. $2 Canadian.
Thank you.
Put sour sugar on gach, and you've got live gummy worms. Yes. Yes, indeed. Ask you how the weather is there, because we got like 10 centimeters of snow today. It's been snowing all day. So. And am I back? There I am. Did you hear me ask Jarzia the question? No, I was probably frozen then.
Yes, you were.
I'm asking Jarzia because they're in Hamilton, which is like an hour from me, how the weather is. We got 10 centimeters of snow today. It's been snowing all day.
Has it really?
So, yeah. So I'm just wondering how the weather is in Hamilton. Let me know, Jarzia. It's probably the exact same. I can just look on the app, but it's more fun to ask you because you're here. So.
And Danto3 asks about beaming through a cloaked ship, and we'll get to that when we get to that, because that was a questioning thing as well for me. But guys, please do super chat if you want to have a question, comment, thought. Really would be super helpful. Like I said, need them to support, and running a couple, so please help, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about the transporter thing when we get there, but anyway. So we get introduced to Captain Kargan, who is a Packlid. I thought I recognized the voice. That's
well
good.
Done.
It seems like it seems gruff, but at the same time, his voice is so. It's not a mean sounding voice, you know. I hear the Packlid in him, unfortunately, and it's just like, oh.
he feels culturally gruff, not actually mean. You know, it's like Germans can seem blunt and a bit rude. That is just, it's just something the culture, and we can sound sarcastic and and you can sound overly positive, and Americans can sound sarcastic. I mean, there's all these different variations of if you're not used to it. So again, true. Fine balance. Although as soon as I saw him, I felt he's just literally just wearing, Lloyd's costume, even the same sash. I mean, it's the most beautiful, amazing Klingon costume. We love these costumes to bits. But it's funny to give him the sash as well. I guess it's the Klingon captain sash, because this is the first time we've really seen Klingons, really seeing them post Star Trek 3, and Klingon sets, and a new Klingon bridge. Because as we know, the Klingon bridge in Star Trek 3 was just a other sci-fi show on the lot they then able to use and redress slightly, and 4 was obviously a Federation-style Klingon bridge that was obviously not exactly Klingon. So this is the first time we're seeing a proper Klingon bridge. When we get there, I'm quite, apart from obviously the motion picture, but I mean, first Borel bridge.
Yeah. And Martin Devon puts in £5 and says, and you had the nerve to criticize England's weather. Well, Snow's better than rain in some instances. You can walk in snow and not get wet. So
Yeah, but you're also colder.
it's not very cold right now. It's actually
Well, it's minus something, or it wouldn't be snowing.
well. Hold on, we'll check here.
Obviously, you can see your breath when you know.
Gestrel 1980 puts in $2. Where was Riker supposed to put that transmitter? It's only -4 right now. So.
Oh yes, only -4.
It's not cold. It's actually pretty nice out.
Yeah, but it's free. It's post freeze.
But it's not a crisp cold like you get some days.
Right.
It's
a warm freezing.
It's a mild cold.
Okay. I mean, there's no wind chill sort of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, okay. The thing is, you're just used to it, and also you don't have to live with it. You just stay inside or outside. Although I'd say it's much easier to control heat in this house than it is cold. Like, I got my little heater, I'm like, yep, no, warm the room, deal with it. Whereas warm, it's like, I haven't got enough fans!
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yes.
Mindon is at the science station and he notices something on the Klingon ship, but doesn't say anything about it. Runs some analysis, or starts to, and they all come back inconclusive. We do find out it is a microbiotic colony, though. But life form analysis is still inconclusive. And then he looks and watches Picard leave, watches Data get up, look right at him, and sit down in the captain's chair, and he's just like, yep, I'm going to turn around and do this now.
Yeah.
It's like he had plenty of opportunity there. Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $1.99. -4 is cold. I'd not be going out unless I had to. Oh my god, it's not cold, trust me. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the weather anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Celsius. It's Celsius. It's not Fahrenheit. That's the big differentiation there. Because if it was Fahrenheit, then it'd be like -28.
Who would use Fahrenheit, Stuart?
Well, you guys use miles still for some reason, so
F you.
don't get me started. Anyway.
So, common comments on this scene. The only thing I found confusing was, why is he the only one to detect it, given that it's literally, it's alerting him on the bridge on a passive scan.
You would think that operations would see it as well.
Yeah.
Which would be Data before he gets up to take command after Picard leaves. So yeah, I agree.
I don't really buy, like, I wish they'd framed it slightly differently, where because of his different culture, part of his culture is to do a detailed scan of an enemy vessel even at peacetime, and that was him on his own, and he had to detect it. But passively, it's unbelievable to me that they didn't log that it got found. It's like, there's how many scientists are currently working on the bridge? How many, you know what I mean? It seems odd to me.
Yeah. Well, Jarzia puts in $2 Canadian, -4 Celsius. T-shirt weather. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, well,
anyway,
you'll have to do a super chat live, walk and talk into a t-shirt at -4 then. Show us how manly you are.
Today I could do it, actually, because it's not a bitter cold, like I said. There's different colds here. We're not going to talk about the weather, though. Anyway, moving on.
Now,
sorry
is this top of the bird prey? Are those shoulder blades a little bit too thin? Like, they should be slightly more stretched out this way. There's a little bit.
For who?
Sorry, the top of the bird of prey. On the shoulder blades, a little bit too squished.
Oh.
Like, not a lot.
It seemed like it, yeah.
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 Yeah. Small thing, but I've rendered a bird of prey a lot.
Yeah, I know. We've looked at it a lot.
It's good,
Area
though.
51 puts in $2.
Yeah.
That science console has its plot lock on. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Oh, I also love the close-up of his hand with the lighting. This is a very well shot episode.
Yeah.
This is a legit.
Some really cool angles for sure.
Yeah, different as well.
So Riker goes down to the transporter room, and again we got more Great O'Brien lines, so that's good. He's like, "Oh, I wouldn't want to go, sir." Well, why not? Well, you're not afraid, are you? No. Should I be? And O'Brien's like, I would be. Bye. It's great back and forth between the two.
The acting is flawless.
Yeah.
And you feel there's a chemistry between them, like a genuine friendship. That this one scene is like, none of the Discovery cast have this or had this in season 1. genuine chemistry. This is like genuine chemistry. It's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I love the atmosphere that Riker's bringing to it. He's like, I'm just doing a mission. I mean, we've been at peace with these people for my entire life. Why would I be scared? And Brian's like, yeah, but they're Klingons. They're a bit scary. Are they? Yeah. But I think he's only saying that because of his experience with the Cardassian War and being very visceral.
Cardis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is actually a nice little retcon there you can do. Which
Yeah.
I really like.
Gestrel 1980 puts in $5. How did they make the breath show up from the benzine? His thing. Maybe it was -4 on the bridge. No, I think it was just like dry ice or something. Would be my guess. And when he breathed into it, it would push it out. So when he wasn't, it didn't show all the time, but yeah. Anyway, it would be dry ice or something.
And Captain Kenny says the wings are down. 2D makes it smaller. Don't think I'd buy that. I've done enough orthographic with it. Well, I appreciate the thought, but I can't quite agree. Yeah. And yeah, they don't use the smoke much, but yeah, it's just dry ice until they specifically like say, right, we're gonna get ready. It's gonna be more. Okay, get our camera. Okay, do the breathe start. Is that sort of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. AC Castillo puts in $2. Does anyone want 27 Celsius? Trade it for your cold. 27 Celsius?
Yeah.
That's not. I don't know.
I don't want that. That's plenty warm for me. No, where are you from then to have such weather at this time of the year?
Yeah.
Australia, maybe?
I would take it. I like the heat. So.
Now, Devereaux is saying it's bigger than the one that Kirk stole at Small Enterprise D, and Martin Devereaux' Cavort class. Well, let's briefly talk about that now. Now we're seeing it. I mean, what do you think? Because at the end, the captain is like, "We'll attack them and destroy them," even though he knows that Brel can't even touch them. What are your thoughts on it?
It's a good question. It's not a Burrell. It'd be the next size up, but it's not the big one. It's not the great bird, as they call it in FASA.
Yeah.
It's the one in the middle, which I believe is the Cavort class.
Cavort's like the wingspan of Enterprise D, so.
Okay, well.
It's way bigger than this would be.
Yeah, it's one of those variable size issues. Just it's convenient for the size of the episode. I don't know.
You know what it is, and this is a slight problem because there is a distinct scale shot from the side, but this, if you replaced the Enterprise D with Enterprise A, it would feel like the same size as the Burrell, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they've done the same thing with the Borg Cube with Voyager. It feels the same, but actually, I mean, I don't buy this. I think this is a Burrell, 100%. Given how small the bridge is, you know, it feels like a scout ship, not a warship to me. And this scale shot, I mean, it's not much bigger than a Burrell, but I mean it is, but it shouldn't be. I don't know. It's definitely not Cavort. I mean, Cavort's way bigger than this, and Cavort always has the wings up. That's kind of their thing. They don't, but yeah, it's they're using the same sort of scaly stuff as Enterprise A, which they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But I mean, did you care back in 1980 something? Like, would you even consider this?
I didn't even think about it during watching this one, to be honest.
Yeah, because it feels about the same size. I mean, when watching TNG, do you even think this ship's bigger or small than Enterprise Classic? Like, do you even mentally think that based on the shots? I don't.
No.
But it is a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Azeros 48 puts in $2
Thank you.
and says -4 degrees Celsius here in Quebec. Winter hasn't even started yet. That's true. Winter has not started yet, but we're going to be up to like above zero by the end of the week anyway. So, welcome to Canada.
Yes, Devereaux, those ones are Cavort. And yes, Klingon Cruiser the Pach, so it is a cruiser variant.
Yeah.
But it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
It's best not to talk about it because it opens up a whole other discussion, which takes forever.
But I love the fact that we're seeing the great thing about reusing models, this is a movie quality miniature on a TV budget.
Yeah.
So it looks absolutely effing incredible because it's a movie level miniature. You know, you don't really get that on TV because this is built, a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And Mendon's like, "Hey, sir, I'm pleased to be aboard." And Picard doesn't know what to say. But he's like, "Oh, we're pleased to have you." I mean,
Person
like, why are you talking to me?
who are
He
you?
had that look
Hello.
on his face, like, why are you talking to me? Look. Um, and then Mendon goes on to say, if you have a few moments, I've noted a few things that may speed up operations. And Picard's like, oh, well, we actually use the chain of command here. You'll report your observations to Lieutenant Worf. He says, oh, I'm sorry. Well, no need to apologize. We should have probably explained it to you better at your indoctrination. So it's our fault that you're an idiot. Just the interaction was so. This is where I can see people thinking that Picard's a bit gruff and rude,
Yes.
but he's the captain. He's got other things to do. He doesn't know this person really, and he was very on point. Like, we're pleased to have you, whatever, but you don't talk to me. You talk to him. He will come to me if it's a good idea, according to him.
Yes.
So that's how it works.
I mean, most people on this ship are under the rank of lieutenant.
Yeah.
By several hundred. He can't be stopped by every ensign that has an idea.
I know. Yeah.
Like, he hasn't got that much to do on a daily basis, but you can imagine he probably does. So, yeah, you go through chain of command. I mean, yes, I'm sure if you wanted to book a meeting with a captain, if you had a good reason, anyone on the crew could book a meeting with the captain.
Absolutely, yes.
But he's normally busy. So I love this interaction. It's a really unique perspective into this world. Picard is totally professional, but he does handle it with a little bit of salt. But it's also...
He's still got to be the captain. He's still got to project that captaincy, and you do that with the lower ranking people.
And
so
this guy,
where they stand,
he is being inappropriate. Like, he is not being correct, and it's like, you know, but he's also new. Although it shows that he wasn't at the hello meeting. Although I was quite frustrated by the use of the word your indoctrination.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, bugged me too.
It should be your welcome party. There's a word for it. Your briefing. Your
briefing. Briefing's perfect.
No, there's another word for it. Where it's like you go to a camp and they have a session to welcome you, and it's getting you situated. What's the word, chat? Help me. It's close to indoctrinated, but it's not that word. Because it just sounds so stupid. They say we're going to indoctrinate you better. Indoctrination's a bad thing.
Yeah.
The word by definition is a bad thing.
Orientation.
That's Did the chat say it?
Yes.
Who gets credit? Who gets credit?
Fleet sweat it, and then Avenue Pad said it.
Thank you.
Cypher Commander said it.
Thanks, guys. So it was a weird scene, but it's a great context scene, and then Worf just sort of strides over like. Dum, 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 dum.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
You
may impress me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
Like when Michael Dorn comes in, he can just deliver a performance. You know.
Well, you saw they cut between the conversation and him during this, and he knows his place not to step in while the guy's talking to the captain. Yeah. But he's looking over like he's so annoyed that he went above his head to talk to the captain.
Yeah.
It's like that's not how this works.
Yeah.
So this scene's perfectly played. He doesn't even look him in the eye. He kind of stands sideways to him. You may impress me. Like he puts his face like right beside his ear.
Yep.
And then walks away.
Yep.
So.
Although it is a bit weird that a science specialist is reporting to Worf as his, you would assume it'd be Data, as his like first level of. But I mean, whatever, it doesn't matter. Worf's a better play in this scene, so it's fine. But it kind of feels sad for this guy because everything he does in this episode is wrong until the end. Like every single thing he does.
And he's just trying his hardest. It's like some days that's just how life deals the hand to you. No matter what you do, you're just.
But he doesn't let it get him down. He's a very good sport with it because he knows it's like, yeah, my point here is to learn, not just to be me.
Yeah.
Oops. No, it's great. It's just the script here is so on point. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Now, is this shot of the bird of prey? This is not just from the movie because it's really bright. This is a very bright model shot. Like, what did you think? Because it's like it's being lit from every single direction. How do you think it looks?
I like it.
And look, the cloak ring is almost totally not red.
Yeah, it's kind of it's got some green at the front there and a little bit of a darker at the side. The cloak ring is the thing above at the top. I don't want people getting confused with the deflector ring, which is around the photon torpedo launcher. Because they might not have seen our Bird of Prey episode. You need to go watch our Bird of Prey episodes.
Because to me, this feels like a CGI shot, which is weird. Because if you look at the bottom, I don't think it is, but look at the bottom hull. It's like very flat, textury look.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna piss myself off if I don't look. I'm gonna look at Star Trek 3 and find it, because this, I mean, it's a very same angle, but the lighting is not. I mean, it looks great, but it looks like a TV shot. Like, I just throw 3 lights on it, whatever. We'll go. You know what I mean?
4 lights. 4 lights.
There are not 4 lights on this ship.
There should be. There's only 3, according to the commander.
Okay. Next scene will I find that?
Right.
Oh, this is fun.
Let's see here. So, beams aboard, and he's kind of squinting through the atmosphere because it's kind of a thick atmosphere on the ship. And this is where the guy's like looking him up and down. He's like, "Do you have a problem?" He's like, "No, I've just never seen anyone from your species." Okay, I doubt that very much, but okay. How you doing?
My assumption is up close.
Yeah.
I mean, if
But your job's to take me to the captain, right? Like, oop. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, my assumption is that we've all, if aliens existed, yes, we might have seen Tellarite in a book, but actually up close, it's like, wow, your skin is very rubbery, or wow, your eyebrows are so thick. So you'd see different things. So I can kind of be fine with it.
I am too. It's just, yeah.
I just appreciate the chill perspective. He's like, this is really interesting. Like, it's not. Again, they balance the level of potential aggression with friendliness, with Klingon culture. This episode is not trying to make them the bad guys, and it really does a good job not to.
Yeah.
Well, this is well done. I think really balanced them out well.
And Dan 23, yes, we're using the remastered version here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I love the way that Riker's like, well, lead the way, with like a smile on his face, because kind of out of place on a Klingon ship, but
yeah. And something I thought, Riker's the tallest person in the TNG cast.
Yeah, these guys all dwarf him.
But they don't that much. Klingons are meant to be like 6 something. But do you note some of the shots are being very careful to shoot up?
Yep. I make a point of that later because there's a few that are very much exaggerated versions of that, yeah.
Yeah, only the main guy, who obviously hired to be extra tall. Like, Klingons are meant to be a head above, and he is very similar to this guy. It's like, shit. And the Klingons wearing boots. I bet he's always the same height as Riker, just with the boots. It just makes me laugh, because Klingons are too big.
And Dan 23, yes, we're using the remastered version. We just said that, so... Yes, we always use the remastered versions for the reviews. We do sometimes go back and check the original one to see comparisons, but yes, we do.
And yes, Rick Consort. We know it's like the same stock footage, but redone. I was just noting the different feel of the lighting and such. We might have changed those in post a bit. And Gensler, did you read the Gensler super chat?
Gensler, what's that? Gestro, 1980.
Yes.
That one? No, not yet. He puts in $5. I always like the officer Klingon exchange. It reinforces the alliance like we do with NATO. Also, we get the first view of life on a Klingon ship. Absolutely.
And this kind of episode makes you think that
Oh, I skipped it. Super chat. Oh, Jarzia puts in $2. Just like it's best not to talk about the Defiant scale. Sorry. There we go. Now we're caught up.
Defiant scale is 9 times out of 10 fine. It's just a couple of times not.
Yeah.
You know? I'm very careful to say if it's a CG version, once it's in CG, it's always the same scale. Because I mean, the amount of time, because all the blinkies are set to the scale of the CG model, like all registry and stuff. So they didn't change that in the episode unless they need to for a very specific reason, like a shot. And then they might just do forced perspective or change the other ship. So no, it's almost always the right scale, just because it would take a long time back then to modify it just for one different scale. The production time is so quick they wouldn't mess up their own scale just to make a shot work. We just make those. Anyway.
Jarzia throws in $5 Canadian.
Hey.
Clegg is probably evaluating his character more than his appearance. He's looking him in the eye to see if he has a warrior's heart, but the picture isn't the same. Yeah. And AC Casellas says the actor Gowron was 5'10".
Oh wow, yeah,
is 5'10".
Oh yeah, it was also to note. I did actually brighten all these pictures up a little bit in post because I thought I might as well.
They are kind of dark, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to see, so I made them all a little bit brighter. And I love the look.
But he goes.
I love the look of these Klingons. Like, this is how Klingons should be shown. It just
Yeah,
works so well in this episode.
Yeah. So he goes to the bridge and announces himself, says, William Riker from the U.S. Enterprise. And he's like, no. You're Commander William Riker, First Officer of the PAC. Yeah. I've been assigned to your ship and I'll follow your orders. Would you take an oath to that effect? I just did. I love that. It's a very good Riker moment.
Yeah.
But then we introduced to Second Officer Lieutenant Clank. And he, yeah. I at first you hate this guy, but it says in Klingon, you know, I do not believe him. He lies. And the captain slaps him down pretty quick, speaking their language. Now I like this because it ties into FASA and stuff that, and Star Trek 3,
yes.
or Star Trek 6, sorry, where the guys in the transporter room say only the higher end models even speak English, like the officers.
Yep.
And yeah, the Klingons spoke English on their bridges so that the lower rank people wouldn't understand what they were saying because they didn't know English necessarily.
Yes.
So I kind of like that mix. So, you know, speak in their language.
Well, it's weird when the Bird of Prey came off the first time and they hail. Worf's like, they're hailing in the proper language.
Yeah.
It was a weird touch because you got to wonder in this sort of moment, every single communicator comm badge is a universal translator. The fact that he's hearing Klingon means they've turned it off out of respect. Because how can they go to Klingon if it translates Klingon?
That's one of those anachronisms in Star Trek when certain words don't translate just for convenience sake. You know.
But I can imagine he just turned it off out of respect, so he doesn't know what everyone's saying all the time. Like if they want to have a private conversation, it's up to them.
Yeah, it could be.
Although then you assume they have a more thick accent, because then they're speaking in true Klingon. And say Kaelish! So it's Kaeless. But yeah, the captain's a weird character actor, and Clang, whatever his name is, stands out a lot. I mean, we just almost met this guy at Vegas. He was there. He's been in a billion things, and he plays a really good Klingon. I like the sash. It's almost Worf, but not really. And just the bridge setup and just the lighting. It's just so... They had to build the entire aesthetic, well, based off motion picture, but it just looks so good. And the fact they're so dark, you hide lack of detail, but you have great lighting, and it's just great.
Yeah. And this confrontation with Riker is great. So like you said, he's standing on like the command deck platform, which is like 2 steps above the lower part of the bridge. So he's like way over Riker. And he's like snarling and baring his teeth. And Riker's like, so I assume you're challenging my authority over you. That is correct. And Riker looks at the captain. What's the captain's view on this? The captain sits down and says, well, looks like this is your first command decision. I love it. I love the way the Klingons do business sometimes. Anyway, Riker kicks the living crap out of him and throws him into a console, which probably should have killed him, but whatever.
Well, they got 2 hearts, enhanced bone structure, and 2 penises, so, I mean, they can take a lot.
Right?
But this scene is tremendous. Again, so well written. It's a respectful. It's just a challenge. It's a challenge which is then met, and Riker isn't beating him up. He's martial arting him to disable him.
Mm.
It's strategic, you know. And the guy obviously, although I did think Klingons are much stronger than humans.
Yeah.
But that's always the case, isn't it? A human can take out a Klingon. It's like, yeah, but he probably couldn't.
But I hate the way that Riker goes about it. It's kind of like the coward's way, because he's like, looks over his shoulder and then kind of poof, just to get the advantage. I hate when people do that. They do that a lot in TV shows and for fights, where the person like does the over the shoulder and then.
Well,
like, really,
it shows he wasn't on guard. That he didn't think he would. It calls it. It's showing that you didn't think enough of me to think I would. So here I am. But also, he knows that he's a weaker person. But also symbolic of him being so high, pulling him by the head and pulling him down. Like, he's a full flip. Like, it's a quite legitimate stunt.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more symbolic rather than making sense, which in itself is important in this situation. You know, symbology of what he did Yeah, it's great. And he's like, will you follow my orders now? Yes, sir. And the captain's like, excellent. And now go kill younglings.
Okay, moving on. Anyway, this is where we find out there's an unknown substance on the aft skin of the dorsal section of the Enterprise. And this is actually really neat. The zoom in on it with the view screen and magnify. But it turns out it's a rare form of bacteria, which is actually doubling itself in size every 15 minutes.
Yep.
Seems to be reacting to 2 specific compounds within the Enterprise's hull. And again, it's I think it's great. I love seeing the view screen do the thing. I don't know. I'm a geek for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love the procedure of this. It's not exciting, but it's very matter of fact. It's very 1, 2, 3. You understand it. You develop it. I mean, you really get a sense this is a functional, successful spaceship, and that doesn't always happen. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. That's where we find out that he had actually noticed it on the Klingon vessel.
Yeah.
And Picard, of course, being Picard, whom did you inform? Well, no one. I haven't completed my analysis. We don't report until the analysis is complete. And I think it's actually data that says, and how did you come to that decision?
Yeah.
Well, it's a benzite regulation. It's our policy to notify command of any... Oh, and then Picard jumps on him and says, well, it's our policy to notify command of any possible danger to the ship. It's not your decision to make.
Yeah.
Great scene. Again, a little bit of annoyance on Picard's part, but he kind of understands also that this is an exchange program thing. So he's not too...
Yeah.
I don't know. He rides that dad line. You know when your dad's kind of pissed, but not really mad. He's just kind of like trying to... Anyway, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's inadvertently letting the kid touch the pan, realizing he burned himself, and they say, but you learned something today. Don't do that. It's wrong. Because, now you learned something today. If we're going to die in a vacuum of space, tell us before you work out how to stop it. Oh, is that how I should do it? Yes. And did you notice the very dramatic...
Yes.
That was...
First officer chair goes all the way around. Yeah.
Never used again.
No. That was really good, though. It was a great scene.
I mean, it makes sense. You would want to talk to your back crew of brilliant. And it's lovely. Data's never focused on this episode ever, but he's great to be in the second in command role. That's really kind of nice.
Yes. Did you notice the guy beside Ben, whatever the hell the Benzite's name is? Anyway, notice him like the whole time he's like looking up. Oh shit! This dude's getting in trouble.
You know what he's thinking? I've served with the Enterprise for 4 years, and I've never even talked to the captain. He's on the ship for 26 hours, and the captain's already yelled at him twice. That's what he's thinking. Because it's true. This guy's made a splash. He's been there a day. I mean, this is second day. This is not like a week. This is second day. It's a good scene. I feel sorry for the guy though, Benzite guy, because it's just like he keeps getting bitch slapped down. I wish that wasn't always the case in this episode. I get why, although there isn't really a third episode payoff to this. You know what I mean? There would have been nice if there was a third, because there's kind of like a kind of, there isn't really a satisfying conclusion for this character.
Oh, true. Would have been nice to see him again.
Well, one of them again. The triplet.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we have 131 people watching, which is great.
Thank you.
So, guys, everybody hit like. Make sure you hit the like button. If you want to super chat, get your comment or question read or answered, please do so. Helps out the channel. And don't forget to share the video around as well. Anybody you think that would like the Star Trek reviews, please share it around. So, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And hopefully you're having a good time. Please let us know in the chat or super chat.
And as you guys noticed, obviously we're doing long reviews of these episodes because we break down every scene, every moment, because our little things we don't notice. There are lines of dialogue. We get the good and the bad, and discuss the fun points. This is like the most detailed version of this episode you could watch. and we have a lot of fun. And if you have a question, comment, please do super chat. We rely on them heavily, like super heavily. And even $1, as some people have did at the start, makes a big difference. So thank you. And actually, we did get a PayPal from Ian Warrender, of all wonderful people. Kailesh Nesh Kapla is his note.
Great. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Again, Worf goes and intimidates him. And Picard says, Data, go help him out. So, yeah. Then we are back on the Klingon ship, and it is supper time, dinner time, food time, whatever. Great scene. Before I get to it, though, Fleet Posture back puts in 199.
Thank you.
Some of my favorite scenes are coming up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But it's just disgusting watching Klingons eat, just saying.
And Dan23, yes, they are in Deep Space Nine, but as secondary, like, background people.
Yes.
They do appear again, but never as, like, a primary.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs puts in 204, 100 likes, sweet. Again at 150, hashtag Riker eats gawk like Spike. Sweet. Good one. 30 more likes, guys. We got 30 more people here. 30 more than what we have likes. So please hit like.
Oh, yeah. Should be easy. So first of all, what do you think of this scene?
I think it's great. I mean, there's not a lot of people, so much just be like, obviously they other people are on duty, but it kind of gives a sense maybe a scale of the ship, because if this is just one of the shift rotations that's off, and maybe let's say double it for not everybody's in the mess hall at the same time, so it's not a huge crew complement. I get the feeling.
Well, the bridge only seems to have like 5 stations.
Yeah.
And he goes to engineering and back within like 5 minutes. I think it's a Burrell, honestly. I think it's just maybe like a TNG Burrell's, like maybe 150 meters, 140, like rather than 108, like a bit bigger. It's definitely Burrellian.
Burrellian, that's a great word. No, I like the scene. Nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. It really builds the lore of the Klingons, and they turn out to be a little bit different than we anticipated, which is great.
Yep.
And yes, Martin, we know the Burrell has a crew of 12.
Yeah. Well, TMP Burrell for Renegades. I mean, who knows what an Imperial version would have had. La. I think this scene is one of the best scenes of the entire show so far. The writing is like A star. Because it takes these characters, and they are like, you genuinely get a character from the big guy and the secondary. The female less so, but that's okay. She's more of a, she's there but not there. Well, she's next to him. I didn't realize that's where they were framing. Okay, but if you like, they make fun of him, but it's not mean. He can jab back, and it's not mean, and he has fun, and he shows their unusual side of him, and they show him unusual side of them, and we get the sense that, well, you know what, Riker's kind of hot. Klingon babes want to plow him because he's not plowing; he's getting plowed. And there's 2 of them, and there's interest, and I love the line of I will have you later.
Wow,
is she serious?
Yeah. Yes. He's not very attractive, but I will have him.
Yeah. God, the lines.
And then they're curious about how you will endure what? Them. And then Riker fires right back as somebody like I would. One or both?
This is a masterclass of writing, especially for Klingons. I mean, this is before we get to the more like yelly. I mean, this is still TNG. Like, this is still even TOS Klingon to some extent. The more talky, more emotional. It's not the glorious battle. Like, we're not there yet. It's really like refreshing to see.
Even before that, though, there's a funny line where they gives them some gawk, and it's actually live.
Yeah,
well, gawk is best served live,
Yeah, obviously.
And
do not know.
Would you
don't know.
Would you like something easier? Maybe we could have one of our females breastfeed you.
And it's actually funny. That's actually a good line.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just banter. Because you can tell this guy likes him. Like, there's a genuine appreciation for him. And Riker rises to every challenge. But in an equal way. It's just,
And I love how it pays off because he says, you know, would you say you're typical for a Federation officer?
Mm.
I would say so. Probably why? Oh, because you're not what I expected.
Yeah.
And then Riker fires back and says, well, you guys aren't what I expected. You have a sense of humor. You know, having known Worf, I wouldn't think that you guys would have a sense of humor. There is much about us you do not know.
Like our women, hint, hint. Right there. No, it's true. I mean, I didn't even consider that when I was listening to it. It's like, oh yeah, Worf doesn't really laugh, does he? Didn't even cross my mind. Yeah, he's quite a soulless.
Yeah, he's overcompensating though, because he's with all the humans, which are all emotional and whatever. And he wants to. He's studied, as we talked about in another live. He's more of a Klingon than most Klingons because he aspires to be Klingon. So he studies everything. He knows everything about them, and he puts on the most extreme version of what a Klingon is, kind of in like the way he deals with things like that. You know what I mean? So he's not as relaxed as these guys are, because they're on their own ship, they're on with their own friends, their colleagues, whatever. Whereas Worf is trying to be more of a Klingon than, like, he's overcompensating because he's never really been a Klingon, you know. So
no, I love it. That's a really great point. I think that's and plus he's having to be softer for the humans, but like not like a non-human way.
Yeah. But we find out that the second officer's father was captured in battle by Romulans and not allowed to die.
Yes.
But he's now back on Kronos and suffers from an illness. He's going to.
Well, no, he said he said he will. He's now just waiting for age and illness to get him. I didn't get the sense he was ill, just that he'll only ever get ill and die.
No, I got the sense that he was ill. Yeah.
Whichever.
But he says he will not see him, but he's your father. A Klingon is his work, not his family.
Good line.
We don't express feelings the way you do. And Riker's like, well, perhaps you should. We would not know how. And it's funny because I'm thinking the whole time, what about your dad, Riker? Yeah, you like your dad? Yeah, I know you don't. Anyway.
Yeah, it would have been great if the guy was like, what about your father? Don't talk about my father. I will not see him. What?
He's an embarrassment to me.
He dated Pulaski. What? Who is
If
Pulaski?
you saw Pulaski, you'd understand.
She calls it Gak. Oh, I judged her. Whore bitch queen of the universe. Yeah. And it's just really like the writer to think we'll talk about our dads in this really like slow, considered way. Like half people will go that I'll come join them because they're all friends and they'll have a chat and it'll be very meaningful and heart to heart. And yeah, like I say, Riker says, "Oh well, maybe you guys should change," but it's not in like a you should change. It's just like try it out. Try having more compassion. It's really interesting. You still get a sense though that the Klingon culture is very limited. In the if there's abandoned, like if you have to die, if every male has to die in battle, and that's the thing, like that's so bland. And what if there aren't wars and you live to be old and you don't die in battle? It's it can't really work as a culture, unless you live to be like 200, and then it's like, yes, I served for 137 years. I had 6 kids, and obviously I saw them when I wasn't on my tour of duty. I raised them all, then I died in battle. So okay, fine, but. It's an interesting scene.
Well, the best thing about this scene for me is Riker's facial reactions to everything. The one lady beside him grabs his chin at one point, and he's like just such great. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that that genuine banter, the laughing, it just seems all very natural. It doesn't any of it seem forced or like acting. It's very much genuine. So.
And there's a great close up where the guy walks at camera in like a Shakespearean way, and the makeup looks incredible.
Yeah,
like it blends perfectly with his face. Just movie level quality. Westmore always tried to do that. That was always his thing. And then it ends with them saying we're not too different. I'm eating gach, and everyone's having fun. I think this is one of my very first 10 out of 10 scenes in TNG. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and I like the little lesson that Riker throws in at the end, where the Klingon says we would not know how to show express our feelings, and he's like, well, not that long ago I didn't know it. And how do you eat gach? And he just big forkful and just takes it, and it's the live gach too. So I mean, great. You know, willing to learn from things. You should be too.
You know, it'd be great if at the end of this episode we'd had one like bonus addendum scene. You know, like in some shows, there's the end, and then it cuts to a new scene, like a half scene. If it cut to a scene where the ships are still with each other before they warp off, and Riker communicates with the guy like he did with the Ferengi guy in like his quarters and says, "Hey, what's his name? Clag? I say Clag.
Clank, yeah.
Clag. Hey, Clag. Yes, Riker. Just before we go, would you mind sending me a barrel of Gach? It was really, really good. And like alive, I get it. Ah, yes, you are a warrior. Beam, and it just means right into his crew quarters. He opens it, just goes, "Thanks, Clag. Love it. I love it." It's like, yeah, he's on the Gach.
I have a feeling that even if you didn't enjoy it, just doing that one thing would earn you enough points and favor from the Klingon that even if you didn't enjoy it, but you asked for some, you know.
Yeah.
It's something you would do, right?
We should say Lot is eating all of their food without any sort of question. Although it's kind of funny, he mentions, yes, the blood pudding is great and the death spine is wonderful. Oh, is that Garch? Oh, you know our food. Yes, he named up the 3 more obscure things. Yes, of course. Wow, credit for the most credit just for noodles. Yet he knew what, blood pudding was, really?
Yeah.
Small thing, but it's just funny.
Yeah.
Next scene.
All right. We find out that the Klingon ship actually has more hull elements that are susceptible to the bacteria than the Enterprise does, so they're actually going to be affected faster. And there should already be a 12-centimeter opening in the Klingon hull by this point. We see subatomic scans and all that on the screen, which is great. And so Picard says, signal them, change course to intercept. Well, it's going to be hard. Data says it's going to be hard to find them. They're on undesignated maneuvers in the Feven system. So, yeah, I mean, great scene, them working together. So, yeah, boom, scene done.
A couple of other little comments, non-super chatty. James Roberts had the Riker daddy issues been mentioned in the show at the time?
Not yet.
But we know they exist. It's just they weren't invented yet. But we can still call them out for, like, in the grand scheme of things. Even if it doesn't make sense, that's fine. The make was really good. The Klingons don't know how to express their feelings, but they do have opera. And Roberto Ellison, with his caps lock on, says, "Hello, everyone. Hello, Captain Commander." So, Stuart, could you say hello back in caps lock?
Hello. There you
go.
And Jeff Jacobs says those aren't noodles, LOL. Yes, he knows, but they're like the equivalent of noodles because everyone eats them kind of thing. So that's what he was saying. He wasn't saying they are noodles.
Yeah, it's just, noodles are a very basic food.
Yes.
I could have said rice, but rice doesn't look like gach, so it's fine.
I have a feeling gach is put in other dishes as well as kind of like a, much
flavor.
like noodles.
I like that, actually, yeah. And I love how really legitimately dangerous this bacteria is, but they play it off quite casually. Like every hour, it doubles, and within 8 hours,
every 15 minutes it doubles.
Sorry, yes, that's what it was. Ugh. And in 8 hours from the bird of prey getting, which means it's literally about a day and a half. This entire episode takes place in max. Like that's it. Really, I mean, it couldn't be the same 12 hours. Because if it's 8 hours since they saw the Enterprise, roughly, that's one shift. But it's dangerous. In 8 hours, the ship will be unable to go to warp. That's pretty, that's a thing. That's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they, luckily it opened up in a section of the hull that could withstand it. In less than 8 hours, we will have lost too much of our shell to remain intact, they say.
Yeah.
But then it is odd that the Enterprise conducted extensive scans on the vessel and that specific area. And Riker's like, I don't know why. What the hell? He says that's normal procedure for the scans, but the focus beam on the spot can't explain that. So,
and I appreciate the call out in the sense that yes, how it does, but Riker is now playing a part. His acting is very like strong and unreserved. I don't know anything about this. No, of course, like he's presenting a certain level of strength that he wouldn't on the bridge of his own ship. Like his acting does change here. He gets where he has to be. I like the subtlety in acting there.
Yeah, and David Bessick puts in $5. I'm late again, but this is one of my favorite TNG episodes. Yes. It's like, whoa, TNG got good all of a sudden with this episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how the Klingon captain immediately jumps to it. Could be a weapon. Riker's like, it's not a weapon. Like, it's not a tumor. Anyway, engage cloak and change course to intercept the Enterprise. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a... This is the first scene where things start to fall apart a little bit. The fact that the guy goes straight to weapon.
Yeah. I intend to attack the Enterprise and destroy it. It's like, really? Why?
I mean,
anyway, we get to see the Klingon equivalent of the view screen thing looking at the... I love that. That's great.
Yeah, they actually built a 360 set. That's great. It's small, but it's dark, it's lit with smoke. It looks really good considering for the budget. But no, this makes me laugh a little bit. Again, this ship can't take on the Enterprise. He should know that. But also at peace, so he's basically... I guess he thinks they've started war, but if you think the Enterprise just started war with the Klingons, wouldn't you like call back home and then get orders? Like, you're not Krug, you're not a renegade, you're also a ship of the fleet. And then wouldn't you also like command back and they'd give you orders on how to do with Riker because he's also on your ship and you can't trust him. I don't think they'd say, if they did say shoot back, they say, right, wait until our Vultures or D7s or Katingas come along. Like, his plan is not smart. The difference is between a stupid plan is that I can buy a overly zealous Klingon thinking this plan. It's not that it makes sense. It's that this guy is it's like scratch that itch of I need to fight these mother effers. So it works on a very specific line of thought for me, but he jumps to it too quick. And there's not enough evidence.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. I'm laughing at the chat.
What's the chat saying?
Well, Hellrats96 says, I think he's just trying to get a rise out of Riker. And David Stetzler says, we look for things that we can blow up. Yes, that's perfect. Because Simon came in and said the Klingon captain played the Pakled that kidnapped the Geordie.
You said that.
Yeah, we started off with that. We led with that. And Jeff Jacobs puts in $2, paying for the kindergarten cop reference. Nicely done.
And Jarzy says, Samuel, his plan is not smart. Same dude as Packard Captain, we are not smart. It is true. It is true. He's not smart on either side, Captain. But he plays it off well. But if you think about how good Krug was, how leveled that performance was, this is very, like, basic and man. That was elegant.
Yeah.
But also, that's the thing of this episode. This isn't like a Klingon captain that's raring for an exchange or great quality captain. It's the closest guy. It's any old guy. He's just a shit captain. He's the first guy he bumped into.
Yeah,
that's why it works. It's just the first.
It's not the flagship of the Klingon fleet or anything.
It's just the nearest effing guy. So that's why it works. It's very specific, but I think it works still.
Yeah. Steven Arseno says, I think that's the same guy that voiced Starscream and Cobra Commander for 2 years. Yes, but it's not Chris Latta. Chris Latta did the original Cobra Commander and Starscream. So yes, kind of, but not really. I miss Chris Latta. He did.
Sorry.
But yeah, anyway. All right, so next scene's back on the Enterprise, and he's all lamenting, like, oh, I failed. He's like, you made a mistake. Why are you being nice to me? Well, I figured you could use a friend. Just a great scene. I guess, Will, or what's his name? Wesley, that's it, has a thing. Yes. Has a thing for these guys. He must have a fetish for them because he wants to make friends with all of them. I don't know, but...
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But it makes sense. He's got a personal connection with this race. It's kind of nice. And he's playing the human card.
Yeah. In
the sense of he's the most human out of the crew currently.
Well, I love how he also pulls them aside into the little alcove between the conference room door and the toilet. It's something you never really see. Having a conversation back there. I like that. That was great.
Yeah, it's good. Back to the thing. It's now a lot more of the hull. It's a great effect.
And the second officer is kind of saying, you know what? I'm not convinced that Riker knew about this.
Yep.
it's not, it's not their way to volunteer for death so easily. But then
Well,
suspicious shit starts happening because the Enterprise has changed course and
yes.
is now following us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, really? This is such a simple misunderstanding. It's like one of those stupid romantic comedies where there's just a really simple misunderstanding. Just talk to each other, and you would have it solved in like a minute. But no.
But this is why the second in command, I guess third in command currently, just really raises. And I love this conversation. It's just so nice to see a intelligently written Klingon, totally in context situation conversation. No one's overhearing them. They're not on the Enterprise. They're not in a negotiation. They're just in their room or in their bridge chatting. I love those sorts of scenes when they're done right, and this is done so right.
And this scene would have been better. The scene before with Simon. Simon and I am Negan Kerr says Captain Picard comes out of the toilet with the flush sound while they're talking there. That'd be hilarious. Oh, yes.
Oh, Wesley. What was your name? Doesn't matter. Yes. Worf, deal with him. Sir, do you need Sir, do you need a towel? No, Worf. You deal with him. I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah.
But back on the Enterprise now again. And Data says that the Klingon ship is either cloaked or destroyed by now. While conducting an extensive scan of the area. And again, more suspicious shit because now they're conducting extensive scans of the area. And Riker's like, they're here to help us.
You idiot.
Tell me the best way to destroy or attack the Enterprise. I won't. You must. It's part of your oath to me. I will obey your orders and die with this crew, but I will not break my oath to Starfleet. And it's like it was one of those job interview questions because you have to answer correctly. Because if you would have told secrets about the Enterprise, I would have labeled you a traitor and it killed you where you stood. So you passed.
I'm not sure it's the right just to murder him, but I mean, I guess he thinks an out war with the Federation, so I guess he does.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really great.
Yeah.
And it's one long take, pretty much.
Yeah,
the energy
really well
is
done.
so good, and yeah, it's just smart. Because that's the thing. It makes you like, this is a stupid situation. Like, Riker can't be expected to shoot the Enterprise. It's like I was saying to I said out loud while watching it. If somehow they destroy the Enterprise, right? Does Riker get court-martialed by Federation command by actively helping to kill all of his friends if he was on an official training swap where he followed the orders of his captain? It's like, would that be a court-martial offense to get all your friends killed and the flagship destroyed?
I would say yes.
I would say yes too. So it's whether believers.
But since he's a Klingon officer and handles to them, would the Klingon bureaucracy try to protect him and say that he was doing his duty?
But they're at war now, though, so
it opens up a whole can of gach, if you know what I'm saying.
But it doesn't. That's the problem. You can't buy. But I think this captain is not the smartest guy.
Yeah.
It's
I just like how that.
yeah.
I like how that scene ends. It's basically, instead, you're gonna die with us. You will die like a Klingon.
Yep.
So it's like he's earned the captain's respect.
Yep.
It's just like
by not help him, but in a respectful way.
Yeah.
It's an intricate scene that relaying this sort of complexity takes complexity and thought, and it's portrayed beautifully. It's like, I will help you, except if it helps, unless it helps my other oath, because both oaths are important. You jackass. Yes, you're right. Although I wish you just said, the only secret I will tell you is, our shields are better than your weapons, bitch.
Well, there was that exchange, that's coming up later, actually. Yeah, I only need one shot. Well, you'll only get one.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. But anyway, we're back on the thing, and he's found a solution, essentially. We find out that the bacteria is actually capable of breaking down the bonds in the titanium plating, but a tunneling neutrino beam is capable of removing it from both hulls. So I found a solution. Yes.
Yeah, and it's fun because Klingons actively said, "There's no way to solve this. We have no idea. We can't solve it. We'll kill instead."
How many times though? I watch a lot of Star Trek, obviously. I watch it and go, what if there was a Klingon ship in this episode instead of the Enterprise? How would they have solved this? Or a Cardassian? They wouldn't try to talk their way out of it and do all the stuff that actually gets the ship out of the situation. They would just like give her. So how many other ships would be destroyed in the same situations? It's yeah.
You stole our converter. Fire torpedoes! You scanned us inappropriately. Fire torpedoes! You fire torpedoes. Fire torpedoes! But to kill them! Oh, can you imagine the episode where the Enterprise is hit by lasers, and it's just like... Fire torpedoes! Right.
Anyway, Picard instructs them to add instructions to the hail that they're sending out to how to remove the thing. He says send out instructions how to remove it, but then the Klingons say they've added something to the hail. They want to help remove the organism. So they didn't send instructions how to do it, I guess. I don't know.
I'm assuming they can't deflect themselves. I'm assuming the instructions were let us do it to you.
Sounds dirty.
I mean,
but they should have said it can be fixed with this.
Yeah.
And then the Klingon scientists, because there would be a science officer, would be like, okay, let's scan. All right. Yeah, that would work.
But I love the tonal change here. It's like, or in a minute, Riker's like, we've got a solution now. Why are you being like this, Captain? Stop.
I don't believe them. Prepare to attack.
Fire torpedoes.
And then, of course, the Enterprise, Data's like, it's probably a good idea to go to Red Alert.
Yeah.
Go to Red Alert. They've gone to Red Alert. Well, shit. And then Riker's like, they won't fire first.
Yeah.
And that's that whole, we will prepare to fire the photons and phasers at the same time. Dun, dun, dun.
But Stuart, Klingons don't use phasers.
Well, he might have said disruptors. I wrote down phasers.
No, he said phasers.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe now that they're allies with the Federation, they've swapped and they have some phasers on some ships. Who knows?
That'd be kind of fun to see like red phasers coming from the cannons. The joke is the Enterprise era Bird of Prey did have phasers, like it did shoot beams as well as pulses.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just disruptors are more high punch. Phasers are a different sort.
You scratch our hull and we'll scratch yours. That's funny. That's what Georgia said.
Bend over, my female will not look at you while she does things to you.
Wow.
Yeah. So he takes out his transponder in plain view of the captain, who I like at this point, obviously trusts him enough to be like, is that a weapon? What is that?
Right before that, though, this is where Riker says, I would recommend, however, we wait till within 40,000 kilometers to attack. Well, why? It'll cut down the response time and we'll give you, and then the captain says, okay, well, but you will be giving the order to fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, then he pulls out the transponder. Yeah.
And it's wonderful and sly. Like the way he says that, I agree. He's so well acted within the scene.
Yeah. It was really well done. And I thought 40,000 kilometers. What's he on about? And then I remembered, oh yeah, transporters.
Yeah.
But the Klingon commander's like, give it to me. It's like, all right. And the look on Riker's face is like, you're in for a surprise, buddy.
Yeah. But I like the fact that he doesn't overreact. Because he's like, it could be very negative there. But it's like, what do you think? What do you think? What is this? I mean, it's just a bleeping little thing. Also, Alex Castillo sends $2.54 Canadian via PayPal and just says, Kapla!
Kapla!
But as we're nearing to the end, guys, please do super chat. We're about half of where we'd like to be at this point, or 2/3. So we'd love to know an extra $30 by the end of the stream would be really helpful. Like I say, really, really helpful. So please, super chat where you can. Questions, comments, thoughts would be all when we get through the end portion. Put your review score. Would be great.
But anyway, Worf's like, we are receiving an emergency signal from a command transponder. It's Riker's, well, obviously. But they're not in range. So get within range and be prepared to beam them directly to the bridge. Transporter room, you have control of the shields. I love that the chief transporter officer gets control of the shields. Makes perfect sense. But something you never really consider. I mean,
yeah.
even in bridge crew, it's weird because in the TNG bridge, operations has to work the transporter, but tactical is responsible for lowering the shields. You can't link the two because it would be really handy to do so, but as the captain, you're supposed to give the orders, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, it's just neat to hear that. So.
Yeah, although I felt kind of risky to. They said 40,000 was the maximum range, and to beam site to site to the bridge. That's quite a transporter ask this era.
Well, site to site's a lot more of a common thing now, so it's not. If it was TOS, I'd agree, but
it's site to site inside your own ship. This is site to site just through the buffer.
True, and through a cloaked ship. Yeah.
Well, that's the next thing. So their shields go down.
Yes.
Can you beam someone? Obviously they did, but can you beam someone through a cloak?
With the that's what the transponder is for. It's like a transport enhancer almost. It would help with the lock. You're thinking of transporting out of the Klingon ship while it's cloaked from the Klingon ship. Like if you're using the Klingon ship's transporters, remember it's like firing a torpedo. It would smear within the envelope of the whatever, right? I think because it's an outside source, it's not an issue really. And I think, didn't they do it as the ship was decloaking as well?
No, I was wondering that. I don't think they were.
No, they didn't. They didn't. You're right, because he beams off, and then Riker takes command and then says,
He was about to. He orders basically, get ready to lower. He says like get ready to lower the cloaking shields, which is not what they're called. My problem with this is that the transponder obviously yes, but irrespective to how strong your lock is, you're still transporting through like a light dispersing polarized field. Doesn't matter how strong your lock is, you're still punching through a field into a thing that you can't detect. They're beaming a signal they can't detect, like they can detect, but I mean, it feels like a bit of a stretch to me. They can beam through a cloak.
The thing that kind of compensates it for me though is the fact that it's a transponder, so it has a really strong signal. It can be detected parsecs away or whatever. So when they're that close, they get such a solid lock on to the person holding the transponder. They know exactly where the Klingon ship is. I'll give it a pass.
Well, they know where the transponders, they know where the ship is, because he could be any part of the ship. Like they wouldn't know what. But it's basically saying it is safe to beam through a cloak. It just takes a strong signal. The cloak field doesn't actually affect transport signals at all. So that also means you could also like comm somebody.
It doesn't though, because think about it. In Star Trek 4, they beam up Kirk and Jillian while the ship is cloaked, because they're right outside the ship.
They do, yeah.
So there you go. Transporter issue fixed. Done.
Yeah. I was questioning it. It seems odd to me, but you're right.
Yeah.
And obviously communicate as well. So you can communicate. You can do pretty much anything through a cloak. Obviously, you can still use view screen as well. So you can do most things through a cloak. It's actually it's actually very basic technology. It's more trying to launch guns through it, launch weapons. Okay.
Yeah.
No, great reference. Good job. And that was 100 years earlier as well.
Yes, true.
Wow.
Martin Devon puts in £2. It's coming up. Worf doesn't miss. Okay. And Simon I am Negan Kerr puts in £5. Great live stream as always, guys. Glad you liked the toilet gag. Oh, that was perfect. That should have just been added. That's awesome. Should be like a post-credit scene.
Yeah. And Hellrat says, sorry he can't help us out, but he's broke this month, had to pay some rather steep puppy bills last week. I hope the puppy's better. That's the main thing.
Yes. I saw that and I was going to read it, and then I thought, I'll be sad because I hope the puppy's okay.
Well, yeah. And Dan23 says, the Defiant cannot transport while cloaked.
And Sci-Fi Nation says Captain Foley true, but in other on-screen canon they can't. So there you go.
The thing is, Romulan and Klingon cloaks.
Troy gets beamed through a cloak just like this with the transponder when she's turned into a Romulan.
I was about to say
Romulan cloak.
They are different.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, it's probably circumstantial as well. I mean, they're also in transporter range within a T. I mean, think about it. How close was Kirk and Thingy to the bird of prey in Star Trek 4?
10 feet.
Yeah, so what I mean, they can probably be much more like fine-tuned, and this ship is, I guess, at the edge of transporter range, but there's probably like a long-range transport as well. This is, I don't know.
But that's why I think the transponder kind of makes up for it in my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's such a strong signal. They have such a positive lock. It's not like they're
at
the extreme range of the normal transporter sensors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a convergence of potentials.
Yeah.
Um,
I can overlook it easily.
and I think Klingons, because they would iterate on cloaks differently, Klingons and Romulans. So I can see them like wanting, because the Romulan cloak in Star Trek TOS is not a shimmer. You can't see it, right? They're not ever able to see it, are they?
Yeah. No.
Whereas Star Trek 3 they can, even though that's later.
Yes.
So as we've done an episode on it, so I'm sure there's different cloak variants.
Yep.
Klingons, I'm sure, have less advanced cloaks all the time. Romulans have different. So I mean, yeah.
And you got to think too. Let's say you have a fleet of cloaked ships, and you're coming up behind enemy lines or something. You need to transfer personnel from one ship to another. You don't want to have to send those ships off to decloak to transfer. So if you have like 2 transporter pads on each ship that are locked into each other, I don't see why it's so much of an issue. I mean, it would be handy to be able to do for sure, but then again, so would firing while cloaked, which we know one ship at least can do at some point. So there's always exceptions to the rule, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're modulating to the same frequency,
and maybe we know that Klingon captains always customize their ships. We've talked about that extensively too. So maybe you can have that option of being able to transport while cloaked, or forgo that for power being distributed somewhere else. Who knows? Maybe some ships can do it, some can't.
Like
there you go.
Like this guy's happens to have a worse cloak.
Yeah,
he just didn't.
Older.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as if the Federation. The Federation, it's the Galaxy class is the best transporters in the fleet, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And AC Casso says, I thought the Klingons got their cloak devices from the Romulans in exchange for the D7.
They did, but the Romulans gave them the older cloaking designs without telling them that they had new designs that were far superior.
Now, that's not technically canon, but I mean it's in the other material.
So the Klingons got the older design and then had to rework it themselves and reiterate it on their own, which eventually they improved it themselves. But yes. Anyway.
And it's not just that, but just if even they are identical cloaks, they would evolve differently. If you invented the cloak, they'd be different versus you don't invent the cloak and it's
Yeah. In Sci-Fi Nation, yes, we know. They also had a ship that could fire while cloaked, King's prototype. Yes.
We already mentioned that.
We never saw another one. We did mention that. And we talked about it extensively in our episode on the Bird of Prey. Anyway. And we tell you why it can fire while cloaked. So watch the episode. We're not going to give it away here.
Okay, tell me your thoughts, though. Riker sits captain's chair and he expects the guy not to beat him up, stab him, or shoot him. Your thoughts on this maneuver? This new Riker maneuver?
Well, he's second in command. Well, first in command, but first officer. So he's technically he's a higher rank than the other guy. So of course that's just the way that the command structure works.
But he's also not a Klingon, not
know,
formally registered. He had no training, and he got rid of the captain by cowardly Romulan techniques, didn't stab him.
He also took the oath, and they also had their heart-to-heart down in the mess hall. So this guy's already convinced. Well, he said to the captain earlier, I'm not convinced that Riker knows about this. So
you think that was enough? He thinks Klingon happens to like bond with him so much. He's like, this is a because if this was a conspiracy to steal a bird of prey, this is a damn good strategy to steal a bird of prey. You know what I mean? If they want a bird of prey, this is a good way of doing it. Oh no!
There's easier ways to do it when you're at. There's easier ways to do it when you're allies with somebody. Say, can we, borrow a bird of prey for a little while? Fan.
Yeah,
we'll give you a Miranda.
I just think it's slightly. They've let it in. I think Riker should have been a bit more power play. Like, you have a problem with that? Fight me then. A bit more power, but you don't want to waste time in the episode.
And Martin Devon says it's because Riker said he would die with them. So when he does sit down and order the shields with the cloak to be deactivated, if the Enterprise did fire, he would obviously die with them. So yeah, I can kind of buy that.
But people can say anything at any time. All he then has to do is say, "Oh no, we can't win. Turn off the weapons."
But that would be dishonorable, and I think the other guy was counting on him being honorable and keeping his word, because he didn't give up the secrets of the Enterprise when he was being confronted by the captain he stood by his oath on that. So I think there's a lot of evidence to show that he believed him enough
I
to realize that was a stupid situation to be in.
I
So
just
just let that.
I think if the roles were reversed, if Klingon captain took over, if he beamed Picard off, sat in the chair, said, "Right, bring us close to that Romulan Deredex, and lower cloak, lower shield." I think what Data would be like, you can't do this, non-captain, acting Captain Clark. I know it's a different culture, but I think, put it this way, I think it's pushing believability to its like furthest, but it is plausible. Can we agree on that?
Sure.
What happens next?
What happens next in my notes? Hold on here.
Oh yeah, the
All
guy
right.
booms on the bridge.
Yeah. I've received Captain Kargan, or he says, "Hold where you are. I have relieved Captain Kargan. He was acting in an irrational manner. I'm your captain now. Cloaking shield off. If we die, I die with you," he does say. And I love the Captain Kargan's reaction to being beamed aboard the Enterprise. Where am I? Where else would you be? Really?
That was a dumb line.
Kind of, yeah. And the fact that Worf is armed for some reason on the bridge. I mean, I know they're at red alert, but you're going up against an ally ship. Why does he have a phaser? He doesn't usually have a phaser on him. But I don't know.
Would have been kind of nice if there was a little hatch below tactical. Click, phaser out, go.
Yeah, it just he pulls it off the side and
hadn't even thought that, but you're right. Do you know why he had one, Stuart?
Plot convenience.
Because he needed one in this shot. That's a great point. And I love how Cargon's doing the same technique of I'll turn back this way so you don't see it coming. Doesn't work though because everyone's staring at him point blank.
It worked for Riker. I'll try it.
Yeah. Oh, and look, you notice Data steps in front of Picard.
Yeah, I did notice that.
I mean, it's such a quick shot. That's a really subtle detail. Holy shit! Wow.
That's great though.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think Riker would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Jarzia puts in $2 Canadian. Janeway has a phaser stashed next to her chair. Yeah, but look at the situation they're in. This is just a regular day at the office, essentially, for the Enterprise. They're still probably within Federation space or Klingon space. Anyway, it's Allied space. I know there's some sketchiness going on, but there's no reason. It's not like they're going up against an enemy. They're not really, it's just, it doesn't make sense for them to be armed. But anyway, it works. It's fine.
And several people are saying because he's Worf. And Dan asks if there's the only time we see this weapon. No, it's from the motion picture, then repainted. We did an episode on it, so go back and look. We did all the Klingon guns. This was in it. But it's only close with this version, I believe. I do agree that Worf should always be armed. It's just he isn't normally armed, unless you argue that his phaser is so tucked in his trousers in a little pouch that you can never see it. Which I'm okay.
In Nature's pocket, it's stashed in Nature's pocket.
Like, he is chief of security, so he should buy it. And a Type 1 is so easily stashable. But you're right, he doesn't always have a phaser on him. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So orders the cloak lowered, and basically tells Picard to surrender. And Picard's like, okay, it's fine. We're fine. We're all fine here now. But yeah, and I love Area 51. The Klingon captain was probably a general's idiot cousin. That's why he got his own ship. Yep, I would buy that. It's the Klingons, so yeah.
Yeah, he's not the sharpest batleth in the shed.
No. But he knows somebody important in one of the Klingon houses, so yeah.
And I love Riker on the view screen. He gets to be Captain Riker again. And it reminds me, even how he's like sitting, he's like how he was on the Hathaway. It's like, Captain Riker here. Hello, Jean-Luc. Captain Riker, hello. No, it's I don't know how you'd play this scene as actors. Like, it's like, oh, Will, hey. But they know he's being watched. Doesn't know what the situation is. It's a very weirdly acted, but I think appropriately acted scene. So I give him
I love it though. It's so good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
So anyway, they start effecting repairs.
Yep.
Well, in dialogue anyway. We see it in a second, but and he gets backhanded by the captain after the captain returns to the ship. And I think the other guy realizes that Riker led him. Riker saw that coming. It was telegraphed. He just didn't duck. And that gets mentioned in a second. But anyway, he goes down and helps him up and says, I think you understand Klingons better than I thought, which was great. The respect is there, so that's good.
Oh, yeah, it's not just that. In the scene, he doesn't back down, but in his culture, that's fine. But he looks to the guy and he's like, So he's like, I'm not going to back down from being captain. Oh, ow. Because now the leader who got vanquished has to be a powerful man again. No, it's very clever. And what a stuntman punch. Like, that's a legit, well done punchful. Not a pratfall, punchful.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah, it's a good moment. And the so awkward shot of the bird of prey here, it does not look good from this angle.
I disagree. I really like that angle of the bird of prey.
It's because it's not like it looks like a model on a stick. There's a still. Like if it was doing a bit of motion, like if it was a CG thing, you can make it better. But
is it just me or the wings either in the flight position or up?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird. It's obviously. I bet it's still from when they're like landing at Vulcan. I bet something like that. Because the model shot is obviously such. Yeah. Then Riker beams on, still injured. It's also been minutes later, if that. And he's like, oh wow, it was the quickest assignment ever. It might even be the same day, guys. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, one of the shortest assignments in the history of Starfleet. I learned quite a bit. Apparently not when to duck. Actually, it's exactly when to duck. Or not to duck. Yeah. Yeah, and then there's a nice wrap up with him and Worf in the corridor. You come from a very brave and unique people. And Worf's like, welcome home. I don't know. It was great.
Yeah, I like line of when not to duck and when to duck it. So it's such a smart thing. And he compliments Worf on his culture. And it feels very genuine, and their camaraderie comes through, and the bird of prey goes away in a very awkwardly, wrongly rotoscoped scene, which is clearly a reuse, and it's like, oh, let's go this way. Not a good last shot, but at least they're trying. Yeah. It's a quick end because it just feels like it's just two half scenes and then done. Because there was one more moment. But yeah, it ends and the Worf, he's no longer a Klingon exchange. He's been the first one ever. Oops.
Brian Catches says, Captain Commander, I've been sitting back listening to this stream and it has been fantastic. This is one of my favorite season 2 episodes. I give it a 10 out of 10 for season 2 and a 9.5 out of 10 overall. All right, now it's time for my recap. Love this episode. Yes. Better than I anticipated going into it, to be honest. I knew it was good, but it actually turned out a lot better in my opinion. I had no problem with the pacing. I thought it was fantastically done. Never a dull moment. Some quick cuts back and forth between the Enterprise and the Klingon ship, but really well done. And I didn't feel the wrap-up was too rushed. It was a little rushed, but not as much as other episodes, for sure.
Just compared to the quality of the rest of it is all I mean. Like, it's just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see anything like that at all, but... So yeah, great writing, fantastic acting, and learned a lot about the Klingons. Again, we've got a new life form, a new space bacteria that was kind of cool that attacks components in a ship's hull.
Can I jump in there for a second? When they explain what it is, and Picard's like, so he's being told his ship might be destroyed. He's like, oh no, deal with it. But we discover a new sort of life form. But deal with it. Yeah. Like, love the acting of Patrick Stewart. Just a little bit of happy in the, love it.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
True explorer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and the casting was great, except for the Klingon captain. Knowing that he's a Pakled really ruins it for me, but he wasn't really a Pakled yet, so whatever. But yeah, the first officer Klingon was fantastically cast. He makes a great Klingon. So kudos to that, and the way that mess hall scene was done, I thought was fantastic. Got a good mix of humor as well as kind of seriousness in this episode. So there's a lot going for this episode, in my opinion. So For all of season 2, this is going to have to be a wow. I'd say a 9 for season 2. For all of TNG, it's going to be a solid 8.
And then if this was a season 1,
Oh, this is an 11.
that's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. What was your least favorite thing was the captain? Then I was just clear what was your least favorite, but just the captain in general.
Yeah, least favorite thing was the captain, specifically his voice, because I heard Packlet. It just sounded weak, like kind of dumb.
Okay.
So.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. And guys, this is your chance now to super chat what your review scores is and put the non-reviews. Stuart will read the super chat reviews out of 10. I'll read the non-super chats. And of course, put your out of 10 for this season of TNG and of all TNG. So my review score is, I do think this is the best episode of TNG yet. The writing is almost, most of the Klingon stuff, Phil stuff's fine. It's more technobabble stuff, except like it's a procedural in space. It's well written, but it's not exciting. The Klingon stuff is just like the first one in season 1. They respect the Klingons incredibly. I mean, matter of honor. They're given honor and respect, and while it's a weird culture, they don't necessarily get the full fleshing out. It's so textually important, and I wish we'd had this for like the Cardassians and the Romulans in TNG as well. That would have been great. Some similar episodes. We kind of get it with the Troy Romulan one, which is pretty close, but not quite. I see the writing is where this one really stands up hugely, and the Frakes performance is just excellent. The Klingon sets are pretty good. It shows you can do a lot with a little. We'll build a couple of flats, add a couple of consoles, have just one big red open hole in the ceiling, like in the wall, which really should be a monitor they should put back in Remaster. That really should have been a monitor, seriously, not just a red light. But you can get a lot, and a great to the aesthetic, and yeah, it's just really, really excellent. To the scores, obviously I don't know what else is coming in season 2. I'm going to say of all of Trek, okay, well I'll say one more thing. My dad, when I told him I was doing this episode, he said, this one could be any season, and this could have been made today. You know, it holds up 100%. Nothing about it is dated in terms of moral message, meaning, thought process. I wish more shows like this. And I wish Discovery had watched this episode. I rewatched a thing where they said, oh, the Klingons are always villains, almost. We're trying to flesh out their characters. This one episode is better than all of Discovery put together in terms of fleshing out Klingons. Why didn't they watch this episode? Because
they don't know other Star Trek exists.
It disappoints me more what Discovery does. This episode is really, really good. So I'm going to give all of TNG, I got to go an 8.5.
Oh, wow.
It's in the absolute top echelons. Season 2, I'm going to say, I want to say 9 or 9.5. I'll stick with 9, but I reserve the right to say 9.5. I don't know how good Measure Man's going to be. I don't know what else is coming. For me, this might be the best of season 2. If it's the best of season 2, it'll be a 9.5.
Yeah.
If it's not best of season 2, then I get to give one thing a 9.5. That's my clarification there. And yeah, I love this at 11 for season 1. I'll have to double that because it's better than season 1 completely. But this is a great. If there's been a sequel, this was like a sequel to the season 1 episode of TNG with Klingons at the end. Like a natural evolution of the same story almost. But yeah, it's excellent, and the script is just really, really good, and well done for making it.
Yeah. All right. Jarzia throws in $5. Best episode so far, 9.5 out of 10 for season 2.
Yep.
Second only to The Measure of a Man and Q Who, and 7.5 out of 10 for TNG. First time we see the Klingons' signature sense of fun and love for life. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
And do super chat if you want Stuart to read them out. I'll read the non-super chat ones.
There's a lot of non-super chat ones.
Yeah. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, season 2, 8 out of 10 for TNG. Jeff Jacobs, 8.5 out of 10 for TNG. 7.75 out of 10 for all Trek. I don't even want to give it out of all Trek because there's so much different content. Like I like sciencey episodes. I like time loop episodes.
I like science. Episode.
Like for me, Message in a Bottle is still better than this episode. You know what I mean? But that's personal enjoyment factor, even though this one's clearly better written, although the comedy in that's better written. But I mean, they're different beasts. Dan 23, only 6 out of 10 for this episode, Dan. Really? That's shocking, Dan. That's shocking. 10 out of 10 for season 2, says Martin. 8.5 out of all TNG. And 10 out of 10 for Trek Yards for this one. Where?
Thanks.
And you can read some more scores, Stuart?
Oh, I don't know where you left off.
Where, from Martin Deveron, so whatever you like.
Well, Jill says 9.5 for season 2, 8.75 for TNG. 10 out of 10 for season 2, says Ginkgo Yoki, and 8.5 overall. Yeah, 11 for season 1. Sam, you look like the Mark II EMH. Ozzy Medeiros puts 9.5.
I've heard that before.
Ryan K says, 7 out of 10 Kelicams. There you go. That's perfect. Yeah. What else? 9 out of 10 for season 2, says Hellrats 96. So there you go.
And Lance Ripplinger says, this episode is what makes people love Klingons so much. Yes. Like, I like the exuberant Klingons, but it would have been nice to have these quiet... Like, these quiet Klingons are great.
Yes.
Although I will say, the second or the third in command guy, he's not fierce enough to be a default Klingon. Like, you could swap him out with a Cardassian, he'd feel almost the same, or Herodian, you know? But he shows a spectrum of Klingonness.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Simon, I am Negan Kerr puts 10 out of 10 for season 2, 6 out of 10 overall for TH.
Okay, question then. Can you give more than one episode in one season a 10?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay. Because I would want to save 10 for the best of a season and like start going 9 point something.
But 10's got to be reserved for like a perfect episode.
Yes.
There are a few things that just, it's like, I hate those teachers that do that. I'll never give you 100% because you never deserve it.
Yep.
But some people maybe do, And
sometimes it should be 10 10 for what you can achieve. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you call a perfect episode? What would you give a 10? I mean, that's a big spectrum of episodes. What would you give a 10?
Good God.
Well, what's a perfect Trek episode? Like, I was trying to think when you said that. I'm not really... Would Yesterday's Enterprise be perfect?
It's damn close. We'd have to watch it and see if there's any errors in it.
Yeah.
I mean, glaring errors, any kind of slowdowns in the pacing, anything like that, I think would take away from a 10. But yeah. I mean, Spock's brain was definitely a different track.
11 for TNG season 1.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. That's more of a 10.5 out of,
But yeah, so guys, this was really fun. It's great to look at a surprising... What?
Ginkgo Yoki says Inner Light perfect. No. Inner Light's great. So is City on the Edge of Forever. But Inner Light can be any sci-fi franchise. It doesn't need to be Trek. It's not necessarily Trek. It's just a great story. There's very little Trek, actually, in Inner Light. It's just a well-told, good story. It was well-acted and well,
Well, it's like these short Trek, Star Trek, where it's craft in the future. That's the best Discovery's ever been. It's also the least Discovery's ever been. It's just an X-Files short. Or Outer Limits short,
Exactly. Jill 47 puts in $2. The Wounded, Lower Decks, and Measure of Man are 10 out of 10s.
Really, The Wounded? Really?
Lower Decks, I'd agree with, I think. It's pretty close to a 10.
Wow, those are really interesting choices. It's not the choice I would have thought.
Yeah.
I just defaulted into TNG because sure, there must be some 10s for other Trek shows because it's still comparative. Like you can still have a perfect for Voyager,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, looking forward to getting to The Wounded then, but
yeah, I like it. But I remember certain things like the sets aren't particularly great and the casting costumes let it down a bit, even though it's creative.
Yeah.
Okay, so last super chat and we can pop off. This was brilliant, and we're doing another chat tomorrow on I guess Measure of a Man. We're gonna hit the
We'll
first.
Do Measure of a Man tomorrow. People are gonna say The Mandalorian comes out tomorrow. And yes, it does. but we won't be reviewing that probably till Wednesday, maybe
Okay.
later in the week, depending.
Yeah, it doesn't come out until after we would go live anyway, so I'm not gonna wait up until whatever time. I mean, you get stills anyway, so it'll be Thursday. Nope, Wednesday.
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 Yeah.
And then Friday we're doing our short trek review, so please do tune in for that. You're doing your first reaction on Thursday night for the short trek. That'll be fun. I'll enjoy watching that after the fact. And question though, Stuart, what are we doing about? There's 2 cuts of Measure of Man, normal and extended. I've never seen the extended.
I don't know if I have either. Let's do extended. Just why not? Because the extended will also cover the regular as well.
I'm wondering if it's worth doing the normal version. Then at the end of the season, watching the extended and seeing if it holds up. Like, once it's out of our brain a bit, rewatch it. Because the pace will change with the extended. Like, going back and watching it again and saying, like, as a special. So I'd rather watch, like, the classic version, like, see what is the one they released. You know?
Okay, the theater version.
Yeah. And then
well, we'll do that one normally then. And then maybe after we're done season 2, maybe we should do Drunk Trek Yards doing the extended version or something.
Yeah.
We'll do kind of something special maybe, or just do it as a follow-up and then do our whole season 2 analysis as a Drunk Trek Yards.
Because I mean that is one of those famous of all time, so it kind of makes sense to give it double billing if it's that good. And I've never seen it extended, so I'm eager to see it.
Yeah. Jill 47 puts in $2. You must include the closing scene with Data and Riker.
If it's in the standard version, yes.
We've been told. Captain Foley, Commander Calkins. I currently am watching this live stream as I have my Starfleet uniform on. I'm prepping on for one of my weekly Star Trek RPs.
Wow.
Well, thank you for joining us. Much appreciated.
And yeah, I guess Jill was the last.
I'll salute you because you're in uniform. Jill was not the last super chat because AC Costello comes in and puts $2. What about reviewing deleted scenes from the movies? That'd be a live stream in itself. Just all the deleted scenes. I'd be down.
That could be really cool, actually.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Martin Devon, silence your dog, Captain. That's awesome. Silence your dog. Yes.
Okay, well, thanks everyone. See you guys tomorrow for the most famous of all treks, apparently. We'll see. Sure. We'll see. Okay, this is the preamble to epicness, apparently. But hey, what a brilliant episode. And to hit two in a row like this, I mean, yeah, well done.
So tune in tomorrow, guys, because it's gonna be 2 heavy hitters back to back.
And you should definitely promote this one, like schedule the next one like right after this, so that people know. Next one, Measure of Man.
Wow, you're demanding.
I am, yes. This is gonna be good. Right, see you guys tomorrow, and I'm gonna go have a meeting. So have a good one, guys.
All right.
Everyone.
Bye.